Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 18th monthly TWitWoW Q&A. We got a few hours because we're going to need them because we ended up sitting around like 60 questions this month, even though we came into today at like 44 because people like to throw their questions out there last minute, apparently. So, John, we have 60 questions and plenty of time. Are you ready to answer all the questions that we received since the last Q&A?
Let's do it, man. Let's get right into this.
Well, if you're that eager, let's just jump into it. First questions were, of course, from James.
All right, let's do this. This way he can't accuse me of not giving him attention. What's the first question?
All right, the first question is for both of us. Without sending yourselves or each other, who would you send on a vacation? Where would you send them and why?
I would send James to Japan because I know that's his dream. And I know it's his dream to travel the world, but that's the one place he wants to visit above all others. And I know if he would visit there, he would be absolutely amazing. So, James to Japan for sure.
Oh God. I would send my mom to Hawaii because I know that's like her ultimate dream that she's always wanted to go see and live in and visit and stuff. So
That's beautiful. Next question.
next question is just for me. What has been your proudest moment yet? Oh man. There is not a long list of these, I'm telling you. Let me think.
Just the way you said that, though. Oh man, I'm sorry.
I haven't accomplished very much in my life, admittedly. Proudest moment yet would probably, and this is going to sound really lame to people that don't get it, but the people that do get it will actually get it and probably understand it. But this is the proudest moment that I've probably ever had. It wasn't really like a specific individual moment. It was more like an event that happened that I did that I engaged in and kind of set in motion. I've been doing all kinds of research related to the NFL and how we can try and project college football players to what traits translate into them also being good NFL players and stuff like that. And I think that the big proudest moment that I can remember that I can think of is when I posted my initial findings for my edge rusher college players and what traits translate from edge rusher in college to the NFL, and that was received extremely well. I posted it on the NFL draft subreddit and the NFL subreddit, and then just a random Atlanta Falcons message board. It was received extremely well, and it kind of catapulted me into kind of being in a status of almost being like an authority on edge rushers in those communities. So I'm really proud of that.
You should be, man. Like I know that what you've been doing. I think it's absolutely incredible. I love that answer. Next.
Next is just for you, John. If you could go back in time and change one moment in your life, why would you strangle yourself with your own umbilical cord?
Because no matter how hard you try, no matter how deeply you love, you're going to lose everything you care about and everything you hold dear, and it's just going to be reduced to a pile of rubble and ash that used to be the dreams that you aspired for. So why perpetuate that suffering? Why subsist your own existence if you know that pain's waiting in the end when you can take yourself out as soon as possible? Next.
Jesus Christ.
Right though? Oh man. I bet you James got an emotional boner hearing that one.
I mean, I guess. Oh yeah, yeah. He literally did. He just said that.
I know, right? We're back together.
We only got two questions from Ella. We only got three questions from James, which is why we're moving on now. We got two questions from Ella. They were both for both of us. First question: thoughts on snakes?
The best thing about them is Jake the Snake Roberts. That's my answer. Oh, also, a more somewhat serious answer. I've grown a deeper appreciation for snakes because there are some that live under our property, and I think they kind of, I don't say they do it, expertly, but I do think they help a little bit with the mice control because, sometimes that we have gotten like mice in our house. And so, yeah, I kind of love them for that low key. So, yeah, snakes are cool in my book. What about you, bro?
Well, it's funny because you and I started watching videos from a relatively new YouTube channel recently called Tier Zoo. And
Oh, okay.
Tierzoo actually did a video on snake builds, and they arrived at the conclusion that the best snake builds are boa constriction, not boa, but just constrictors in general. Constrictors because they're like bulkier and they have, he described them as having higher defense points. Cobras because they can spit venom, and then I don't even remember what the other one was, probably like a brown snake or something like that. But really, I don't really have a huge amount of thought as far as what snakes are and do and stuff, but they're cool, I guess. I mean, they seem like the lamest type of reptile. If you're going to be a reptile, at least be like a cool one and not something without legs. But I mean, the fact that they stuff is cool, I guess.
Oh man, Ashton calling snakes out. What's Ella's next question?
Uh, Andrade Cien Almas dream matches.
Oh man, for me, it's just the best like in-ring workers to me on the main roster. So like AJ Styles immediately,
Seth
Finn,
Rollins, Finn
Seth
Balor.
Rollins, Finn Balor, Cesaro in a singles match. I think that would be an interesting contrast. Sami Zayn if he was a babyface. You know, Kevin Owens, I guess, because I really don't like Andrade as a babyface, but even him as a babyface from an in-ring perspective, I think could have some solid matches with some heels. But yeah, like just to give a top three, Finn, AJ, Seth. Easy for me.
Nice. Yeah, Chad Gable's another one too.
Oh God, don't even get me started on that. He is so wonderful. But yeah, I'm guessing you echo everything I've said here. So unless you can think of any other matches, we can move on to our next set of questions.
I mean, to be fair, I did contribute Seth Rollins and Finn Balor to that discussion.
Yeah, there you go.
So, up next, we had 4 questions from Brandon Best.
Here we go.
Question was for me, and he said he wanted to know what the worst experience I've ever had at the dentist has been. You know, it's kind of funny because I don't think I've ever had a bad experience at the dentist because I've never had any problems with my teeth. So, I mean, I don't even know if you want to count this as a dentist because I guess it was more of like what's the name of a doctor that specializes in that stuff? Like it's orthodontist or like an orthodontics, or I think it would be considered like an orthodontic surgeon, because I would say my worst experience involving my teeth was when I got my wisdom teeth taken out. But really, other than that, I've never had a negative dentist experience in my life. I've never had a cavity. You know, I didn't have any kind of problems with my baby teeth or anything like that. Like I just straight up have never had a problem with the dentist's office. So yeah, you know, if you want, we can move on to your question here, John.
Yeah, let's do it. This is where it starts getting a little heavy here.
Oh God. Okay, John. Well, your question from Brandon. Cut a promo on call for an uprising.
Okay, so I put a lot of thought into this, and I've kind of made a decision about Q&As going forward. You know, for me, Johnny Scumbags kind of played out. I think when we talk about important things, ranting and raving, you know, while comical, doesn't really get anything done. And you know, Brandon sent me 2 videos of this guy, and it's pretty much like, oh, transgenderism is a conspiracy by Lucifer. You know, one of these hyper Christians that honestly, like, I adore people like Sal. I have a friend Brandon who's deeply Christian, like, and you know, they're good people. They're not like this, and it just really makes me cringe, you know, internally. But you know, getting angry and all that stuff isn't going to do any good, especially when I have friends and colleagues in philosophy that are transgender, and I love them deeply. And what they go through is very real and shouldn't be like a joke or a soundbite, even though obviously the joke wouldn't be at their expense. I still would like to treat this with some care. So what I did was some research. I don't think I'm going to change any minds from people that may agree with this guy or whatever. That's not really my intent. It's just being a better person about topics like this. So first off, let's go from an anthropological perspective. I found a map that you go to different cultures and you see how gender is treated. So let's just click on a random portion of the map here. New Zealand, in Maori culture, Waka Wahine are men who prefer the company of women and take up traditionally feminine occupations such as weaving. Wakatane denotes a biological female who pursues traditionally male roles, such as becoming a warrior or engaging in physical labor. Let's see, Indonesia. Waria is a term used for the third gender in Indonesia who are born male but live along a continuum of gender identity in this Islamic nation. term warrior includes individuals who continue to identify as male but who imitate certain feminine mannerisms and perhaps occasionally wear makeup and women's clothing. Others identify so closely as female that they are able to pass as female in their daily interactions in society. As warrior, these individuals become almost invisible. Now, I could go on and on, but we have many questions to get to, and I'm not going to take up all this time on this one question. I think one big misconception that I see, especially from, and I don't mean to generalize, I'm just saying this is where I predominantly see it, right-wing commentators on YouTube and such as, oh, there's only two genders and stuff. I think we need to understand the distinction in a lot of the literature between sex and gender. While there is the female sex and the male sex, gender is more of a socially imposed thing. For example, women are expected to wear pink, like princesses, get into feminine jobs. Men are supposed to like, say, the Bond films and have role models like Sylvester Stallone or some crap, really masculine stuff. There's science on this. I found an article, but you know what? It's so extensive, I wouldn't even know what to cherry pick. Obviously, Google is your friend if you really care and make an effort. But the one thing I wanted to, say here, and then this is where I think people like this are harmful, and more importantly, the audience that consumes things like, oh, transgender people are just, this thing of Lucifer. They're sick, they're twisted, they're depraved. Very recently, I came across, now I don't know how old this study is, to be fair, but on transgender, suicide rates, suicide attempts among trans men are at 46%, trans women 42%. And just to give a further breakdown, those that had family choose not to speak to them or spend time with them, 57% idealized suicide. People that were harassed or bullied, 50 to 54%, and so on and so forth. I say this because Johnny Scumbag, what? I'm just gonna do the usual song and dance. Oh, he's stupid. Oh, shove it up your ass. But like that's not meaningful. And people are dying. And I've seen trans friends feel like shit because they get called out or they get called mentally ill when they just want to live. And we've got so much shit that we're all collectively dealing with. Climate change, wealth inequality, a GOP tax bill that just got pushed that I guarantee you in the next decade is going to fuck me over and many like me. And, I'm a disabled guy. I face my own kind of discrimination, albeit in a very different way. So I'm not going to go and point the gun, at somebody else because they're trying to get by simply because they know themselves better than anybody else could know them. And yet they get called mentally ill for it. I think it's a bunch of crap. I, eagerly await the day where my trans friends can be treated with some respect and decency. And I just think it's really sad that things that they go through that they may not feel comfortable talking to others about just becomes this talking point for this guy looking to peddle this hyper Christian kind of fanaticism. And what's even worse is that's not the only, quote unquote agenda. That's not the only stream of commentary you hear this kind of stuff from. It's become very mainstream to say, mental illness or this and that. And to me, it's not. There's, again, a lot of anthropological study, a lot of scientific study that shows that this isn't a mental illness. This isn't just a quote unquote, Western problem because of liberalism. It's a very deep and rich concept, and one that I think is worthy, of the decency of at least of an investigation and an open mind. And I'm sorry, Brandon, if that wasn't the promo you were looking for, but that's the promo you got because we should be doing more than just joking about this shit, So that's my answer to that.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that this whole gender is more a social construct. To me, I've never really understood gender because I feel like when people talk about gender, they're really just kind of talking about their personality. But then if you take the social context into it and what people expect from people of a certain sex, I can get that.
Right.
Because if you think about it, if you're born male, society expects you to, like the color blue and not like the color pink and playing instruments and playing sports and not like playing with like dolls and, being creative and stuff like that. But to me, even though that is a social construct, I never really saw that as this is like, if you identify as somebody who likes pink and playing with dolls and being creative, then your gender is female. I just see that as your personality and your interests.
Yeah, I mean, to me, dude, again, it's the whole conversation. I think
And
is
really, sorry, I'm going to stop. I'm going to let you talk, and then I have something else I want to add.
No, I was just gonna say the whole topic. Like, I even feel uncomfortable to a degree talking about this because this isn't my lane. You know, like disability, I talk about all day, and even then, like that has qualifiers to it, right? Because I'm a certain type of disability. I really don't feel the most comfortable talking about stuff like this because that's not my lived experience.
Yeah.
But again, that's why Google's your friend. I'm grateful for the trans friends I have because being transgender or gender fluid even because I know that I have friends that are that way as well. It's not a monolithic experience. Like, for example, not all transgender people are going to transition, and not all transgender people are this way or that way. It's not a monolith. But like I just think it's important to know that these things it goes far
You know what?
beyond.
That actually brings up a question that I wanted to ask involving this whole situation. I genuinely don't know what I believe about this, but I want to ask your opinion. Do you think it's possible to be transgender without the body dysmorphia?
I honestly couldn't tell you, Ashton. I
Because
think I
to me, the definition of transgender is somebody who has body dysmorphia towards the opposite gender or towards the opposite sex, I guess I should say.
right. Um,
To me,
I,
like if you don't have body dysmorphia, I don't understand how that can be a transgender person. To me, that's just somebody who likes stuff that society doesn't expect them to like. Like that's not transgender to me.
right. I mean, I really don't know what my position on that is because I can tell you in my personal experience, I think every friend that I have, and I want to emphasize think because I don't know this for certain, but I think that every transgender friend that I've made like had gender dysphoria on some level. And actually,
Body
I'm just
dysmorphia.
body dysmorphia, and yeah, I don't know where gender dysphoria. I think I've seen that before. So no, I think that's what they accuse others of having. Excuse me, but that's another thing I do want to bring up as well. Like I see another talking point where like, oh, people are so miserable. Once they transition, they realize they've made a horrible mistake. That's not true. Studies that I've seen show that people are actually significantly happier once they transition, which again doesn't mean that everybody's going to opt to do that for whatever reason. But people that do, have a sample size have been like, yes, I was happier. In fact, if I have any regrets at that, it's that I wasn't able to do it sooner. Now, are there cases where people could regret, and go back? I have heard of that, but I think it's really important to emphasize, just for the sake of being, fair and not seeming like I'm only pushing one side. It does seem to be a rarity. Like overwhelmingly, it seems to be, once I transition, I'm a lot happier. Are there like a handful of cases where it's like, no, I want to go back? Yes, and even a lot of trans scholars acknowledge this. But I think on the whole, and that's why I wish that the medical resources were more accessible to the people that wanted to take advantage of it. Because again, it's a tough thing when you're going through all that transphobia and stuff like that and trying to live your best life, and everybody just kind of looks at you a certain way. And just the whole mental illness thing. I have a separate commentary for that, but again, like I know we have other questions, and I know we like want to get onto that,
Well,
but
I mean, to be fair, I mean, I think we should do more to destigmatize mental illness as a whole. But at the same time, body dysmorphia is a form of mental illness.
right,
And I've already kind of said, like, to me, if you don't have that body dysmorphia, like, if you don't feel like you belong in the opposite sex's body, then you're not transgender. You just have interests that society doesn't expect you or someone of your sex to have. You know what I
and
mean?
yeah, and again, I'm not going to assent to that because I would want to do my own personal research on that and come to my own conclusions, and I just don't have that yet. Now, again, like I told you, the people that I've known, I think have had the body dysmorphia, that you speak of on some level.
Right.
But again, even if that is the case, I think again I do stand by. Like, let's say that you're right, I still stand by the fact that it's better to give them the medical resources so they can be happier again, like that study I just
Right.
noted,
I
than
definitely
try to
agree with you. Because, like, the
yeah,
thing with body dysmorphia is it's not just I'm a dude, but I feel like I'm really a female in like my heart or whatever. It's also body dysmorphia can also do stuff like lead you to anorexia. Like if you have body dysmorphia, it's really just some perceived flaw that you think you have with your body that you obsess over, whether it's because you have a penis and you think that you shouldn't, or it's because you have 8% body fat and you think that you're this like overweight, disgusting cow who needs to have like 1% body fat. Like body dysmorphia comes in all shapes and sizes, literally, but being transgender is part or is a symptom of a type of body dysmorphia.
And I think for me, and this is the only side where I do like kind of get angry, but even then, like I'm not gonna do it in a Johnny Scumbag way. I think when you've got uh what was it, righteous upright? I don't give a shit. I'm never gonna hear that ear cancer again. I have to get like chemo in my fucking ear for the next year after that shit. It's just to me, and I'm not saying I've never been intellectually lazy. I think we've all had periods where maybe we make generalizations and we realize, oh, maybe I should look deeper into this. But it's like it's a perpetual intellectual laziness with these people, probably because, and I think on some level they're aware of it and they don't care, which I think is even worse, because you just hear the rhetoric, and it's so bad. Like, it was such an awful experience. Actually made me more appreciative of having to watch 13 Reasons Why, because I didn't think it would get any worse, and then I find out this YouTuber exists. So I don't know why you hate my ears so much, Brandon, or my eyes for that matter, but I really do hope you enjoyed me trying to be more thoughtful with this question. I hope you got your questions worth, I'll say. And yeah, I'm ready to move on to the next question.
Okay, before we move on to Brandon's next question, we are going to have kind of a first here. We got a $2 super chat from James. And since he still has room because he only has 3 questions, he used a $2 super chat to ask a 4th question. Are you ready for this?
Oh, Jesus, I see it. List 5 pros and 5 cons of Trump's presidency.
Okay, I want to genuinely try and do this. You can go after me if you want, and you can obviously copy some of my answers because you're not going to be able to come up with 10 each individual in like unique answers.
Okay.
Okay, 5 cons. Here we go. Actually, I'll start with the harder one. I'll do pros first. 5 pros. Pro number 1. I genuinely believe that Donald Trump's presidency will lead to more people doing more research into people that they elect. I think that it's going to lead to a higher, where not significantly higher. Like, we're not going to go from 20% of people going out of their way to research people to like 80%. It might go from like 20 to 25%, but that might also be all we need for shit to change. So heightened awareness of elected officials. The second one is, I think that we've already seen this. We are going to get more people coming out of the woodwork with dirt on politicians that did shitty things. Roy Moore, perfect example. I don't think that what happened with Roy Moore would have necessarily happened if we weren't in the current state of America that we are with Trump as president. I genuinely don't necessarily think that that would have happened. So thank you to Donald Trump being a piece of shit for giving people the courage to speak up against other pieces of shit. Makes sense, right?
Yeah, keep it going. Keep it going.
All right, third pro. I think 2018 is going to see a massive insurgence of Democratic senators and representatives, and I think that the entire House and Senate is going to swing Democrat in 2018. That's a pro. It's not necessarily a pro in the sense that, like, I think Democrats have all the right answers, but it's a pro because Democrats' answers are a hell of a lot harmless, or a hell of a lot less harmful than Republicans' answers for the most part. Pro number 4, memes. We've already gotten the one where he holds up the bill and people put something ridiculously stupid there. Fine, whatever. And finally, my number 5 pro is, I feel like whoever we get as the president that's like the bounce back from Trump might be the best president that we've had since, like, I don't know, Kennedy.
God, this is such a hard question for me because, like, James knows my political beliefs and stuff. We've talked about him at length. I'll take your answer about the memes. Research, honestly, you're more hopeful than I am because I don't think that's gonna happen. So I'd be disingenuous.
Like I said, I don't think it's going to be significant. Like, I don't think we're going to go from, maybe like 20%. I already used the number 20% of people going out of their way to really research candidates to like 80%. Like,
I will say one con to me, and see, this is where I can admit.
Well, no, wait, we're doing pros first.
Oh, right. Well, pros. God damn it, he's so awful. Like, cons is going to be so easy for me personally.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, I'm doing these first, but you can do your pros in the meantime.
Fuck it. I really can't think of it. I think you really came. I don't even really. It should be said, I don't even really believe in all the pros that you listed, but I think they're the best ones we've got because I can't think of anything else.
I guess another pro would be that we're not going to go to war with Russia.
I mean, not Russia, but there are plenty other
Well,
countries to go to war
oh
with.
yeah, there
So
are definitely other countries that we might end up going to war with, but we're definitely not going to go to war with Russia, which we definitely would have had Hillary been elected. So that's one pro for sure.
yeah, I'm just gonna copy your answers. And again, like I can't even do it with like the full sincerity, but I genuinely cannot come up with like anything else because like my mind's racing on the cons, and yet I think about the pros, because even one pro that I thought could have happened actually ended up being a con, which I'll get to in a second. So yeah, I'm just gonna copy your pros because I genuinely can't.
All
So
right, time for the cons. So, con number one, it's ironic that we're talking about cons because a con man is literally running the country right now. He promised a lot of shit, and not only did he not deliver on any of the good shit that he said he would do, like, oh, we're going to clean out the swamp and all that, but he did the exact opposite. He's literally a con man. So that's my first con, and I just got to get that out of the way. Second,
can I take the second one? I know like you were gonna go through, but I don't know. Maybe we just go back and forth here.
but
Uh,
I want to list, I actually want to list five. Like, I actually have at least five in my mind. So if
okay, get your
you
five
say
out.
something that I agree with, I'll just sign on to it. Yeah.
All right. Well, no, I was just gonna say, like, one thing that I thought was gonna be a positive when he got elected, because I thought a guy like him getting elected, right, would kind of shatter our current conception of like political classes and this and that. But if anything, I'm seeing people more deeply entrenched. Like, oh, we've got to get Democrats in there. I'm even seeing the rise of like centrism. And like, Doug Jones's recent victory in Alabama, there are certain publications that are like, see, we don't need Democrats like Bernie Sanders. We need Democrats like Doug Jones, even though he beat Roy Moore by like a sliver of a fucking margin.
Yeah, he beat him by like, what was it, like 1.9% or something, like 1.
So like, let me put it to you, and I'm gonna be that guy. Let me put it to you in more quote like chokehold air quotes Marxian terms. Like I thought we would see with Trump a kind of a reorientation of political consciousness, and I think in a way we have, just in a way that's more horrifying because whether they call themselves alt right, dissident right, white supremacists, their original identity, whatever, I feel like they've become more emboldened, and it's a trend we're seeing, in Europe and in parts of the U.S. Whereas like true leftism, like, oh, let's, fully automated luxury space gay communism, stuff like that. Like I know people that are like that, but it's not like a mainstream thing. You know what I mean? Like I feel like centrism is actually becoming more mainstream, which is just shocking because to me it's like, what is it gonna take to show that it's a structural issue, not an individual issue? Like to me, Trump is a symptom of a much larger disease. I'll put it to you that
Well,
way.
and I was gonna say, like, from what I can tell by what your ideologies are, centrism is like the worst possible outcome for you, right?
Yeah, because it's just, oh god, I don't even know where to start. But yeah, that was my big thing. Is like I thought it would be like, okay, people are finally really going to see like politics is a spectacle. We need to, we need to look at like structural issues, not just individuals. I've even seen like Trump has been so bad. You want to talk about another con? Here's a con. Like Trump has been so bad that certain Republican personalities have actually been rehabilitated because of his awfulness. Like I've seen
John
more
McCain.
John McCain, George W. Bush was another one. And it's like, what the fuck? These are people that bombed like countries and like killed innocent people, and like it just I don't like, my brain just like fries just thinking about it. So yeah, that's really my big con there. Is not only do I feel like people are more deeply entrenched, like more, oh, it's Democrats or bust, like again, just feeding the binary rather than thinking outside of it and thinking of a new kind of political arrangement altogether. But you're even seeing actual, in my mind, fucking war criminals and people that are just human trash get rehabilitated because Trump is so awful. Anyway, I am sorry for stepping on your. I just had to get that off my chest because, like,
Right.
this fucking question. Please list the rest of your five. I apologize.
Okay, con number two, tax plan already. I believe it got voted in already, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure it did at least. But basically, Donald Trump said, fuck your face to the bottom 90% of the country. And the top 10% are getting a tax break, and the top 1% are getting an even bigger tax break, and the top 1% of 1% are getting an even bigger tax break. So basically, the majority of the country is going to be paying more in taxes. The shit that the government is supposed to pay for, like utilities and road work and, you know, public servants are going to get less money. There's going to be less money going into that. And that leads me to con number 3. They're probably going to go after Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security, which is just beyond fucked.
And that's what terrifies me the most, dude. Like, even if I won't feel it, like, in this coming year or whatever, within the next decade, I'm scared what's going to come for me as a person with cerebral palsy. I'm very much dependent on Social Security disability. You know, I love my insurance. I've been able to get medical care because of my insurance that I thought was just going to be locked out for me. I mean, full disclosure to anybody, you know, because I mean, we're having a serious conversation. I plan on starting therapy next year. That's only because my insurance is so fantastic. I've already read on my timeline on Twitter certain people that have gotten notices in the mail like that their coverage is being discontinued. Some people are worrying if my coverage gets discontinued, I'm literally fucked. Like, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
And it's for what? It's to help people that could have already lived 500 times over with the money they have. I'm telling you, no matter what your political affiliation is, people, and I'm not saying I'm on the right side of history. You know, I have my positions. You guys have yours, you know, clearly. I think we are in for some major developments within the next few decades. Like, I'm not saying revolution or anything like that, but I think you're going to see a lot of landscapes change because I'm already seeing it in parts of Europe. I think it's only inevitable that it'll come here, especially if wealth inequality continues to get worse. Public education continues to get hit. That's another thing with this tax plan. Like, you know, some people have called it a straight up war on public education. It's crazy to me that this shit is happening, and it's like, yeah, I'm very concerned about the next 10 years, and I won't lie about that. You know, so really
So,
fucking sucks.
fourth con is that Trump really does perpetuate and magnify the entertainmentization of politics. We're talking about, you know, a bunch of people. I mean, we've already seen guys like Kanye West and Dwayne Johnson saying they're going to run for president in 2020 or 2024. It's becoming more of a show than trying to fix the problems in the country to me.
I, I and that's the thing, right? Like, the one thing that's fascinating, like, if you detach yourself from the subjective, like, oh man, I'm suffering with everybody else, and you really analyze this, the one thing that's fascinating about Trump is that, like, the way he conducts himself, and I'm sorry, I know I'm gonna get some flack for this. Barack Obama knew how to be a politician because he's an amazing orator, right? He's got a beautiful family, knows how to give a speech. And yet, like, everybody's like, oh, his presidency was without scandals. But then you look deeper into the drone program and stuff like that, and his hands weren't clean. But he had the appearance of somebody that was clean because, again, he's a great rhetorician. He knows how to speak, he knows how to act. What's so fascinating about Trump is, to me, like, he really is explicitly, to me, on some level, what every politician is, but he doesn't have the finesse to conceal it. Like, you see it every day on his Twitter. And, like, you'd think, again, that that would make people think, oh man, wow, you know, we got to do something about this. But they go back again to the Dems and stuff. And let me just say this, I get why they do that because, you know, the idea, like, I don't think we can look past our political binary and envision something new. I think this idea of lesser of two evils, which my grandmother used to tell me when it would be like election season, is so deeply entrenched. It's going to take multiple generations. And I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. I'm being sincere. Like, I think it's going to take multiple generations to unlearn that shit. But yeah, like, that's the big thing. Like, I even just read that Barack Obama beat out Trump as the most admired man. Now, am I saying Trump or Obama was worse than Trump? No, but he wasn't perfect either. But I think he gets idealized a lot because of how shit Trump is. And it's fascinating to me how politics works just with this snapshot of this presidency. Like, people are seeing a guy that doesn't have the charisma that you'd expect of a politician because politics, again, to a degree, is a spectacle. I think when Trump was campaigning, he understood that. You know, because he was like a showman. You know, he had, like, making fun of Marco Rubio and Jeb Bush and all that stuff, and people ate that shit up. But when it comes to the more boring side, you know, the policy and this and that, you realize, oh, fuck, we elected a guy that doesn't know anything at all. You know, which again is eerily fascinating in a way. And yeah, all the cons you're listing are just right on point.
Yeah. And the final, and to me, the biggest con, I mean, really, I would argue that the biggest con is just the policies being enacted, whether it's net neutrality or the tax plan, or like I mentioned, eventually them going after Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. But the big one in number 5 is the continued polarization of the United States, because I have experienced firsthand, and I think a big reason why I don't really deal with this problem a lot personally is because I am registered as an independent, not a Republican or a Democrat. So I can say that, and whoever I say that to immediately feels a little bit safer opening up to me. But I have absolutely noticed a much wider gap forming between people that self-identify as conservative Republicans and people that self-identify as liberal Democrats. And one side sees the other side as this evil entity that wants to ruin something that they stand for or feel like they are identified by, and they feel like that other side wants to end everything that they hold dear to themselves. So whether it's, democratic liberal Democrats feeling like Republicans are going after, you know rights and equal rights, and the social justice culture that's kind of been cultivated, or if you're a conservative Republican, you feel like the liberals are going after your right to free speech and stuff like that. Everything has become so much more partisan and polarized than I ever remember it being prior to this election cycle, that I really do feel like unless we start to open up a dialogue between the quote unquote two sides, that it's just not going to get better. And it really needs to get better, because I don't think this country can handle another civil war.
It's interesting to me because like you have people like I personally, speaking for myself personally, I have been telling a lot of my leftist friends and stuff that like I want to praxis, and you and I have talked about this to a degree, that's centered more on like rehabilitative justice rather than just like fire and brimstone all the time. I do think there's a place for fire and brimstone. I haven't thrown it out altogether. I wouldn't call myself a pacifist, ironically enough, for those that remember my old YouTube days. But I do believe that we can engage people meaningfully in conversation. I remember a video I saw from a commentator, a really funny guy. I haven't checked on what he's done in a while, but Jonathan Pye on YouTube, and he talked about Trump's win, and he more or less said like, well, why are you surprised? You've got conservatives that are, in their minds, like afraid to open up because they'll be attacked. So they let their ideology be known in the ballot box, when it's really going to matter. And then when you're surprised, well, how could Hillary have lost? Well, it's because like you never saw the other side of the table. If you did, you would have seen this coming. Um,
I mean, the thing with the Hillary loss is it's funny because she won the popular vote and lost the electoral college. So what does that tell you? That tells you that the people that came out to vote in general were in the most populated, already Democratic leaning partisan states, like your Californias, your New Yorks, like the states that you already knew the Democrats were going to win. Those are the states that came out to vote for Hillary. But the states that were maybe riding the line, maybe the states that like your Floridas, your Ohio's, your Pennsylvanias, the states where there is more of a rural population, those are the states that we weren't sure were going to go either way. And a lot of people were talking about, well, obviously Hillary's winning those, and Trump got those because those were the states where the rural conservative older Americans went out in droves to vote. And it's not even necessarily that they went out in droves to vote either, because if you look at the numbers, Donald Trump got around the same amount of votes as the last like 5 Republican candidates. It's just that Hillary got less votes than Bush's opponents, and she got significantly fewer votes than Obama ever did. Like it's really a matter of people came out to vote for Trump who you can expect to vote Republican every time, and the Democratic side wasn't as motivated to go out and vote for Hillary. That's really all it came down to. Like if you look at the numbers, the Republican side wasn't like this huge. It wasn't like we went from like 50 million people voted Republican in 2012 to 60 million in 2016. It was like 51 million to like 51.5 million. Like it barely moved at all. But with Hillary, it was like 53 million voted for Obama in 2012, and then like 50 million voted for Hillary. You know what I mean? Like it went down a pretty significant chunk compared to Obama for Hillary.
And I think, not to
And she
completely
still won the popular vote. That's the thing.
right. Not to completely detract from what you just said, but I think like, and I'm not defending those people. I'm just making like a broader point. Like I think part of their shock was because so much had come out about Trump. Like all the stuff. I don't need to go through all of it. And they're like, well, how could you vote for that? But at the same time, like. And I've said this. Was I the biggest Bernie supporter? Not necessarily, but if I was being pragmatic and if I was registered to vote, he would have gotten my vote. People wanted Sanders. You fucked him out of it. And Hillary was a candidate. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. Maybe this is the communist in me showing, and I apologize. But when you've got a person who their idea of connecting with people is like having these events and these fundraisers, and you're just like parading celebrities, like this total class disconnect in an age where a lot of people are concerned about their jobs, a lot of people are concerned about their futures, even more now, right, with this presidency. Like, say what you will about Trump, and I certainly have, and I'll continue to do so, but he knew the right things to say, even if they ended up being lies. I mean, hello, welcome to politics.
Yeah.
Coal, I've got your back. Mining industry, I've got your back. This and that.
Automotive, I've got your back.
Automotive, I've got your back. And that's the thing. Like, this is why, not so much anymore, but this is why, quote unquote, old school Marxists and people like that, we put such emphasis on class because we look at that as foundational to everything else. And, Bernie, that's what I think was one of the main reasons he was so successful, because what was the one thing he addressed over and over again? Wealth inequality, the wealthy paying a far, bigger portion of taxes than what they've been paying because they've been fucking coasting, putting that money back into public works, schools, hospitals, etc. Free healthcare, free education. These are the things that matter to people because again, it's to me just basic class analysis. And Trump, even though it was so rudimentary, even though it wasn't nuanced at all, he still demonstrated more of that than Hillary, who was palling around with these rich elite people. Like, perception is reality, right? So what perception are you creating when you screw over a guy that a lot of people wanted, which is different than saying that he's perfect or this and that, but a lot of people thought, like, yeah, I ride with this guy, he's, forget the better of two evils, like he's just the best option, period. You fuck him over. And then the alternative is somebody that, I mean, I can't even believe that she still has a career after losing this, because so many analysts were like, oh, it's a gimme, she might as well get the decorator in there. And then she lost. And I think what infuriates me is we didn't learn a goddamn thing, because we're still thinking, oh, Dems will do it in 20, what would it be, 2018, 2020? Well, 2018, I think
Well,
is the
2018 is midterm elections. That's for
yeah.
like the House of Representatives and the Senate. And I really genuinely do think that there is going to be a pretty significant swing from Repub to Dem in that. But as far as the 2020 election goes, we really cannot overlook Trump again. Seriously.
No, dude, how many times have I told you too? And like, if I'm wrong, I'll be elated to be wrong. There's a Rusev Day word for you because I'm seeing a lot of that in chat.
I'm elated.
But like I have said, I would not be surprised, especially if we go to war. In between that time, I would not be surprised if Trump is a two-term president. I'm sorry, I wouldn't be. Because, and why I say, especially if we go to war, in a time of war, a nation would not want to do a power shift. They are far more conservative. It happened with Bush. You'd think Bush was such a disaster, but then when, the war in the Middle East, it's like, well, we can't do a change now, not in the midst of this crisis. Like, we've got to keep stability with an administration. And yeah, I still, even with the whole talk of impeachment before Christmas, which how did that work out? It's December 28th, and we didn't get those hearings, and we didn't do shit. Maybe they're still going to go, and maybe it's just delayed or whatever. Didn't happen. Like, this guy's going to have his run. We got to do the best we can, which I know is saying a lot because a lot of, marginalized people, disabled like myself, black, et cetera, are going to suffer. I mean, this guy just recently apparently said in a room full of people, like, he's worried about Haitians because all Haitians have AIDS. Like, this is his understanding of the fucking world. And yet there are some people that are like, yeah, seems legit. And I'm just like, Jesus. But that does bring me to another point, though, because you said something earlier that I really wanted to kind of get my full thoughts on. Polarization. And I read a thread recently by a leftist that said, we can't throw these people out. These people that may ask honest questions or want to engage. aren't we supposed to be the better alternative? Isn't that historically what we've strived to be? There may be no hope for the racist grandfather, somebody like 65 and up, which I even disagree with that to a point, but that's another discussion for another time. But she said for the young people that may find the conservative rhetoric, that may find like, oh, be proud of your whiteness or this and that, be proud of your maleness, this and that attractive, but may also want to hear us, like, we've got to be willing to engage. We can't just look at them as hopeless or whatever, because then what movement do we have? Like, who the fuck is going to be left on this island of ideological purity, which I think never works. That's why, even though I don't really care for comments that have come out from Doug Jones since his win, oh, we've got to move past these sex allegations, we've got to do this and that, questionable comments, like, ideological purity wasn't going to happen in that race. It was either Doug Jones or a pedophile. So I'm going to take Doug Jones. But, I think that is one important reason. Go to your voting centers, talk about alternatives, reorient the political consciousness. I wish I could do it, but I can't really traverse many spaces because of my disability. So I try and use Twitter and stuff to educate as best I can. We can't look at people like, I saw a guy, and this is why I say I even disagree about elderly people being hopeless. He was an older guy. His daughter was gay. He was protesting a Roy Moore rally because Roy Moore has said like a lot of homophobic shit. And the dad admitted himself, he said homophobic stuff to his daughter. She ended up killing herself. Now, that's a tragic thing, but it was a catalyst for the father to change and say, you know what? It's wrong. What he's saying is wrong, and it's hurting people, and I've got to change that. So I've personally been navigating. It can't be fire and brimstone all the time. Again, not discarding it altogether, so I don't want people putting words in my mouth. But I think when it's people genuinely looking for dialogue, genuinely looking to find an answer, we've got to be open to that, because we've got to give this system a better alternative. Because if Trump is seriously the best we can do, then humanity was a fucking mistake. And, I just think we've got to do better than what we've been doing. We've got to move past the political binary, but that begins in conversation. Stop writing people off. Look at the evidence. I talked about gender. I hope some people look into that. If people want to genuinely talk to me and say, no, John, this is why I'm right, send me shit. Let's talk about it. But it just can't keep talking past each other, because it's fucking tiring. And yeah, real lives are at stake. So, I hope it gets better, man. I really do, because I'm not optimistic right now. As a disabled man, I'm not optimistic where this administration's gonna do to people like me, because you mentioned just the GOP tax bill alone. I've seen bills related specifically to disability that terrify me. But you can only hope for the best, and you can only hope that people care to hear you. Let's move on to the next question. I'm fucking depressed. What do we got next?
All right, next question is our third question from Brandon Best. Most insane spot in New Japan this year. I guess I'll take this one first. The Naito pile driver onto Kenny Omega through a table.
Yeah, you know what? I think I was thinking of the same one, because you said through a table. Didn't somebody pile drive another person like on an apron or something in New Japan? Like I felt.
I mean, Beretta does apron pile drivers all the time, and
he might have done one to Omega, maybe.
Sonata, I think, does those too.
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking, because I know Trent Beretta and Omega had a match, and I want to say that, like, yeah, I saw a pile driver on an apron. That looked insane. So I think I'll go with that, because that really made me cringe internally, like, big time. So that's.
Oh yeah, the Shibata headbutt is another legit candidate, but I don't like to even acknowledge that, because it's such a horrible thing that literally ended a man's career.
Yeah, right. I don't really like to think about it too much. I'm just grateful Shibata's alive. So yeah.
All right. Fourth and final question from Brandon. In your opinion, who is the smartest wrestler of this generation?
Oh, man. I feel like I used to have an answer for this, and now it's kind of escaping me. Do you have any answer for this?
The Miz.
You know what? That is who I was going to answer. Yeah, because he really, you want to know why he's the smartest? He did it in that kind of work, shoot, talking smack promo. He's had a longer career than Bryan, because Bryan works the fun, exciting indie style, and yet Miz works the conservative WWE style, and he's still making money, and he's put in, 10 years in the business now?
Yep.
So, yeah, I'll say, yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you. Miz is my answer. Yeah.
All right. Up next, I'm glad that we got to this before he left, because he's only around for another hour and 10 minutes. We have 4 questions from Cliff 'em all.
Nice.
First question for both of us. What is your favorite nickname for Johnny Mundo? He said that his favorite is the ambassador of abdominals.
I was gonna say the same thing. This is why you're my disowned son, Cliff.
I'll just go with Guru of Greatness.
There you go. There you go.
Mostly because that's a nickname that I could see myself using for myself.
Oh, there you go. Next question from Cliff.
Next question is just for me. If you got to book Charlotte's last match in the WWE, how would you book it? Make the suffering delicious.
Well, for me, I know he says make the suffering
what
delicious.
Doing? What are you doing? It's just for me.
Oh, I'm sorry. You go. I kind of blanked out there.
You shut your whore mouth. This is for me. Damn it. Let me have this.
All right. You got this.
I honestly, I think I wouldn't even make it suffering as far as like, oh, we're going to book her in a death match against Nia Jax and have her drop her on her head or anything like that. No, I would just want to embarrass the shit out of her. So I would just put her in the ring with like the greenest person on the roster and tell him to go 20 minutes.
All right. Well, there you go.
Third question for both of us. If Bray Wyatt came to Lucha Underground and formed a Wyatt family, who would be his other two members? And he has a note that the two members must be on the Lucha Underground roster already.
Well, Marty the Moth seems like kind of a gimme for like the heavy.
Marty's too much of a leader to be a follower.
Well, I mean, he was following Mariposa's lead until recently, so I don't know. I mean, Pentagon Dark's like a notorious follower, so like maybe.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, so Pentagon Dark. I still really like my Marty answer, but if you were gonna challenge me on it, I had to pick somebody else. Let me see here. Oh god, he would have worked if he wasn't dead. I would have said Trece or somebody like that, but or El Sinestro de la Muerte. One of the disciples of death, but again, they're all dead. So let's see. We got Pentagon Dark. Who else for the Wyatt family? Bray Wyatt, Pentagon Dark.
I know who I would go with.
Who would you go with?
Ricky Mandel and Joey Ryan.
Interesting.
I would use Ricky Mandel's angle with the photographs to put him in that situation.
You know what? I was looking for a heavy, because like Marty the Moth's like this big guy. I would either say Matanza or Vibora for that role, and I think I'm more partial to Matanza because I think he'd be more easy to manipulate than Vibora because of the shiny objects and shit. So,
but yeah, I was gonna say Bray just has to get a hold of that key.
Exactly. So yeah, Matanza and Pentagon Dark for my Wyatt family with Bray Wyatt.
All right, and I would go. I already said who. It would be Ricky Mandel and Joey Ryan, and the reason is because Joey Ryan is already super duper hairy, so he fits in with the motif.
Right.
It's also really easy to manipulate because, I mean, he's drawn to money. So, Bray Wyatt just be like, hey, Joey, here's some cash. And he'd just be like, oh, hi, by the way, I'm a cop and I'm also on Dario Cueto's payroll. What can I do for you?
Yeah.
And Ricky Mandel, I think, already has kind of a natural right into the Wyatt family because of the picture angle. Oh, wow, Dario, that thing.
Yeah. Wow, Dario. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. So we could use that to say, like, those pictures were Bray Wyatt's and he used them to get Ricky Mandel hypnotized or something. I don't know.
Yeah, sounds good to me, man.
All right. Fourth and final question from Cliff Amal. As an anime noob, where should I start? Educate me, please.
Oh, God. This question couldn't have been for both of us because you've admitted, like, you haven't really seen
that. Oh, no. I asked him directly if the Johnny Mundo question and this question were meant to be just for you, and he said no, both.
Wow, okay. So do you want to go first?
Sure. I think the easiest jumping off point would be Dragon Ball Z. But I would say start with Dragon Ball, then watch Z, then watch Super. That's like 800 episodes or something like that right there. It's not actually, it's like 500 or 600, but still. I would say Full Metal Alchemist and Brotherhood, although pick one or the other, not both, because I'm pretty sure they follow what's supposed to be the same story. Brotherhood is more faithful to the manga. And then if you want to just go for stuff that's really popular in the US, you've got Naruto, Does John, I'm asking you this. Does Cowboy Bebop count as an anime?
Yes.
Well, then there's one. Samurai Jack, does that count as an anime?
No.
Okay, forget that then. So Naruto, that One Piece, and I'm probably missing something, but those are the big names that I can think. Oh, Code Geass, which John loves.
Well, I mean that's my favorite. I know Bleach is another like huge
Yeah,
anime like
Bleach is
Naruto
another
and One
one.
Piece.
Yeah. And then after that, the only other one that I can personally recommend is Dead Man Wonderland. So there you go.
Yeah, I don't mean this to be a cop out answer because I actually
Oh,
have
and
been one of
Attack on Titan too.
oh yes, Attack on Titan's so good. But here's the thing, Cliff.
Oh,
And I don't
and
mean this
Food
to be
Wars.
yeah, Food Wars, and I can't wait to watch the third season with my family. But anyway, um, not to be like a cop out answer, but I feel like to answer this question appropriately, it's the same way asking about like movies and TV. What do you feel like you like? Because there's some anime that's more like science fiction. There's more anime that's just action. Code Geass is primarily a mecha anime. I really don't like those that much. Code Geass is the exception rather than the rule.
Is
Death
it
Note,
Geass or Gias? Because I don't know how to
Geass,
pronounce it.
Geass.
It is
Um,
Gias. Okay. Oh, and Death Note's another one.
Death Note's absolutely incredible. But again, I say incredible because all of these anime in one form or another, possess something that I like or I gravitate towards. So I think you would just have to figure out, like, think about the movies or TV shows you watch, and then maybe kind of take those tastes and see if you can match them up to any anime. That to me would be the best place to start because then I think you could make up your own organic list. I mean, yeah, suggestions are great. I think Ashton, every anime he listed, I've never watched Bleach and I've got to get back on One Piece because I've been like itching to get back, and I've said that for almost a year now. So I guess the
Aren't
itch
you
isn't
like
there now.
100 episodes behind at this point?
I'm more than 100 episodes behind at this point, but you know what though? I climbed the mountain once, I can do it again. And that's another thing too. If you are gonna tackle a Naruto or a One Piece, which for
Make
your
sure you
first
have
time,
a lot of time on your hands.
a lot of time on your hands, and make sure that like the investment doesn't wane because it really is. It does take a lot from you emotionally, especially the fucking filler, which is the worst. I would personally start with animes that are traditionally 20 to 25 episodes. Kind of get your groove there, and then maybe build it up. Like, okay, I'm ready to tackle Yu Yu Hakusho is another great one. Let me think. What else? Witchblade's a fun one. Hellsing Ultimate. Hellsing Ultimate actually is one of my favorite anime scenes ever. Absolutely double down on Attack on Titan. That's fantastic. But yeah, just think about what you gravitate towards as far as cinema and television goes, and I guarantee you'd find a likeness in the anime world. Future Diary is an insane anime. That's like science fiction and action, all that other stuff. That's insanely good. Somebody made the case recently, and I actually wanted to share that video with you. I still haven't watched it, but somebody had like a video titled "Fuck You, Avatar is an anime." So
Ah!
yeah, I gotta go back and watch that video and share it with you because I know you've always made that case. Avatar, if you're like, I want American anime, maybe go there. There's a lot of great stuff. I would like to see what your voice says about it because you're only hearing like my voice and Ashton's voice, which again, they're very specific tastes. Maybe you'd be different. I can even think of animes that like people probably would think, wow, he actually likes that. And yeah, I do because it's good stuff. Hellgirl's another weird one. I wish that they would have dubbed
Here's the
it.
thing. I get why people say Avatar isn't an anime because anime is literally Japanese animation. Like that's what like if you go to Japan, any animation, even American based cartoons, Japanese people refer to it as anime. Like we've already seen
Right.
saying refer to American animation as anime. Like it's a culture thing. It's not a matter of like the style or anything. It's literally just it's a matter of where it was made, and if it was made in Japan, it's an anime, and if not, it's not an anime. But to me, there are very clearly some products that were made with the intent to be anime, even if they were made outside of Japan. And Avatar is one of them. Ruby is another really good example of one that's like it's made in the USA, but it's intended to be an anime. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I just want to say too that I'm glad Hypothesis mentioned Castlevania. That's only like 4 episodes, really short, 20 minutes apiece. I thought it was really good. I thought the voice acting was great. Somebody mentioned Tokyo Ghoul. I've read the scans, like the manga being scanned online. Haven't watched the anime. I've been meaning to because I think some of the imagery is like sick as fuck and like definitely feeds my more sadistic side. My Hero Academia is another great one. I saw that a lot. That might actually be a good place for you to start, Clef, because I feel like that's just such a fun, lighthearted anime. But like the intense moments are intense, the emotional moments, are emotional. That might be a great place for you to start. So yeah, there's a lot of great anime out there today. You just got to know where you want to look. But yeah, I think that sufficiently answers that question. So let's move on.
All right, next question. We have 4 from Races Fan Rocks. First one, what NXT performer is going to be in the Royal Rumble? And he said that he's picking Aleister Black. Well, guess what? So am I.
You know what? I really can't think of anybody better at the moment. So yeah, I'd say Aleister Black. I would have said McIntyre had he not gotten injured, but I don't think he'll be back in time. So yeah, I'll sign on with Aleister Black. And is there anybody else that I could comfortably
I'm going to
pick?
throw out a name.
Okay.
Andrade.
Yeah, he might. That would be interesting if he was in it. I'm trying to think of like anybody else. I honestly could see, you know what? I'll put a weird name out there. Roderick Strong. I feel like he's like in that weird spot where I could actually see him in a Royal Rumble spot because he doesn't really seem to be doing much else. So yeah, I'll say Roderick Strong along with the Aleister Black pick.
I like it. I like it. All right. Next question from Races Fan Rocks. How was your Christmas?
It was good. Super low key, just like I like it. So yeah, I can't complain.
Yeah, I had a really good Christmas. Woke up a little bit early, like 9:30 in the morning, which is really early for me. I'm used to waking up afternoon. And basically got to sit in a car from like 10:30 to 12:30 because we drove up to my little cousin's house. And she and her boyfriend and their little girl and her mom all kind of whipped together Christmas dinner for the family. And the food was good, and it was just nice to kind of hang out with the family outside of the house that I'm used to. It was nice to see their family kind of getting along well in their house and that kind of stuff. And yeah, it was just a good day. And then I came home and had to deal with a sore, stiff ass for the rest of the night because of the 2-hour car ride to and from.
Oh yeah, that's always the worst. But yeah, we both had a good Christmas. I guess we can move on.
All right, third question. Do you think Sammy Callahan brings his tag team to Lucha Underground? And he's referring to OI4K.
I'm gonna say no because
Yep.
I think the Jeremiah Crane character is so distinct. Not to say that they couldn't make a narrative for those guys, but for right now, I'm just gonna say no, not yet.
I agree. Sammy Callahan is not Jeremiah Crane, and Jeremiah Crane is not Sammy Callahan. They are different characters.
All right, so next question.
Well, the next question is just for me. Should the NFL have a minor league system like the NHL has with the AHL? I'm going to say no because that's what college football and the CFL are for.
All right, well that was short, sweet, and to the point. Next question.
We have 4 questions from Hypothesis. First, and they're all for both of us. So first up, who do you think will hold the Lucha Underground Trios and Gift of the Gods championships in Lucha Underground Season 4?
Trios championships in season 4. I honestly could see the Mac, Dante, and Killshot holding on to them. So I'll say that. Gift of the Gods. Honestly, Gift of the Gods, and I only say this now because he lost the belt and I could see him like losing his rematch. Either Angelico, so that we get him on track for the main event, Son of Havoc,
For the same
or
reason.
Kaya.
Ooh!
Because I think tension may finally start to brew. Because I think once Mundo fails in his rematch, he's going to be a lot harder and like more caustic towards the Worldwide Underground. And they're going to start to succeed, and he's just going to keep like declining. So either he's going to turn babyface because he keeps losing, he's going to take like his frustration out on one of his members, his comrades, and they turn babyface. I could just see it going any number of ways. And yeah, Son of Havoc, I pull for him every season. Lucha Underground Championship, the only choice that keeps coming in my mind is Cage. Like, one of these seasons has got to be his season. So I'm just going to punch Cage it again for the world title. So those are my answers there. What about you, Ashton? Who you got on tap?
All right. So, world title, I think Pentagon is probably going to keep it for, I'm going to say the whole season, honestly. I don't see any reason to have him drop it. I think he's going to have to defend it on Ultima Lucha Quattro, but I don't think he's going to drop it in that match.
Right.
And Gift of the Gods, we'll say El Dragon Azteca Jr.
Okay, I really like that actually.
And then for trios, God, who would be a good piece of shit heel team to take the titles from Mac, Killshot, and Fox? Um, that's a tough one. I almost want to say the rest of Worldwide Underground, like PJ, Jack Evans, and either Taya or Ricky.
Oh, that would be very interesting.
But the thing is, PJ, Jack, and Mundo already held those titles, so I don't know why they would give them back to them.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm thinking one of them's gonna do something different. And again, I always go with Ty because I feel like her stock is steadily rising.
Yeah, man, this is tough. How about a famous B faction? Let's go with a famous B faction. Tejano. We already talked about Dr. Wagner Jr. and let's say he decides to represent Cage.
Ooh. To me, I like your answer of like, I know Hypothesis, I think, also said like Famous Ank. I could also see Famous B coming out of retirement himself, seeing as how he wouldn't have to work the whole match by himself and he could share the load with two other guys. I could just see him get in there and be like, oh, I'll be it.
I guess
So,
I see him as more the Cobra Moon managerial type.
and that's totally understandable. I just like, we've seen him work before and he does seem like the greedy type, like, you know, that has that bit of self-centeredness. So like either route wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, I do like the Cage idea a lot, especially because of his and Tejano's history. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think
Next
yeah, yeah,
question.
next question.
Second question from Hypothesis. If Famous B were to make a faction out of Infamous Incorporated, who would you like to see alongside Dr. Wagner and Tejano? Well, shit, I just answered this. Cage.
Yeah, Cage, I still think is a good fit. Um, it would be funny, you know, if they did like a little callback because I remember in one of Ray and Azteca's training videos, like Ray turned off the TV while a Famous B ad was playing. So, and Azteca was like, "Hey, I was watching that." So maybe he has a cinematic with Famous B, and he's like, "Oh, I know you. You're that guy from the TV." He's like, "Yeah, I am, and I can make you famous." And maybe we get like that kind of like odd couple thing kind of going on there. So I'll even say like I love the Cage answer, so I'll double down on that with Ashton here. But I'll also put out El Dragon Azteca just as a cute little like callback to just him seeing him on TV and just being like, "Oh yeah, so how's that going? Oh, it's going great. I'd like you to be a part of it." And then they kind of strum something along. I think that'd be interesting.
All right. Next up, we got a third question from Hypothesis. With WWE trying to establish a UK based brand, should they bring back British pay per views such as Insurrection and Rebellion?
Uh
I mean, my thing is, I always have felt like WWE's pay per views should be outside of the US. Like, they should do more pay per views in Canada, pay per views in Mexico, pay per views in the UK, pay per views in Japan. Like, I want to see WWE make an effort to go outside of just the US. But we've also got to remember that it's a business and they care more about money than art. So they're going to do whatever they can at the cheapest price possible. And that means they're staying in the US as long as possible. And I don't think that the amount of money that they would gain from having UK pay-per-views would be worth the cost to have said UK pay-per-views.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get a better argument than that to me. I the only reason I'm kind of leaning towards yes is because, you know, they do have the network now, so they could make it like these big network specials. But to just immediately go back to what Ashton just said, you've got to question the returns on such specials. Like, are they really worth it in the long term? If money wasn't an issue, I'd say, you know, why not? The UK fan base seems very rabid, hungry for more wrestling. Hell, they're still trying to get a WrestleMania for themselves, which I think would be the coolest experience ever, at least from an aesthetic point of view, to just see that big ass arena and just everything else and what they would do in the UK. But you know, I don't see it in the cards right now. Again, if money was an issue, why the hell not? They've got the network, they can make it a big deal. But I think those constraints that Ashton noted, you know, are valid. And yeah, I definitely agree with that.
All right. Fourth and final question from Hypothesis. Have you played Pokemon Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, and or Ultra Moon? And if so, what do you think about Professor Kukui being a luchador on the side?
No, I haven't, but that's hilarious. Especially not having like any proper context. But yeah, no, I haven't played any of those games.
Yeah, same here. I do want to eventually, but I don't have a 3DS, so it's not an option. And I also don't have the option to play Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which I really freaking want to. So, yeah, I'm just kind of screwed in that department.
All right. So next question.
All right. And by the way, I agree that it's really cool that there's a luchador in a Pokemon game. But anyway, we have 4 questions from Rotten Butter. He was a little bit later than usual this month. I feel like he's usually one of the earliest question askers. But anyway, first up, he literally just said, "You know the drill by now." So I'm assuming that means cool shit that you watched slash heard slash read over class slash seen over the last month.
I mean, you guys know the usual with me. I've been like balls deep in research and doing a bunch of research projects, but that's like boring, uninteresting stuff to you guys, so I won't get into the specifics of that. TV shows. I know me and the family. We finished House of Cards recently, and given how Kevin Spacey's career has now gone down in flames, I actually feel like the season ended quite nicely. So since they're going to continue the show at least for one season in his absence, it should go off pretty well. And then we got a little bit further into Sons of Anarchy. We've actually gotten back on The Americans, so I forgot how much I enjoyed that show. But yeah, it's been quite enjoyable there. What else have we been watching? Because I feel like we've gotten some other good shit in there. Obviously, with games, me and Ash are still playing a shit ton of Rocket League. Still
Yeah,
refining that skill set and whatnot.
yeah. I played a little bit of Maple Story earlier this week.
Oh yeah, yeah. You did tell me about that. Um,
I've
you
been
know,
playing. Oh, I've been playing a little bit more modded Minecraft too. I started playing because John and I started watching a series called Divine Journey, or yeah, it's Divine Journey with the guys on Mindcrack, and it's Good, Packrat, Arcus, and Nebris, and we've been watching Arcus's perspective because he live streams on Twitch these episodes as they record them, whereas like Good and Nebris upload the episodes once every other day, and they're like months behind. So we just watch the live streams as they happen so that we get to keep up as much as possible. That's been entertaining. But the reason I told that story was so that I could say that I've also been playing Divine Journey in Minecraft, and it's fucking miserable. I hate it, but I have to keep playing it because I have to get ahead of the guys that we're watching play it because naturally I have this competitive drive in me, and I hate myself for it.
Oh, well, that's healthy. Yeah, I've missed gaming personally. That there are certain games that I would love to get back to, like LA Noir. I haven't touched in the longest time. I've really been missing it. But again, I've just been, and I'm loving every second of it. Don't get me wrong, all the research and stuff. But yeah, thinking about shows, staying on top of Adventure Time. They came out with new episodes recently. I thought they were very good. Steven Universe the same way. Steven Universe batch was a bit
Speaking of keeping up, we've been keeping up with Agents of Shield.
in space.
It's been so good.
Yeah, and speaking of things that are so good, I know that we are retreading the ground of the MCU
That's
in
right.
preparation for
Hey, if you
Infinity
guys want to
War.
watch along with us, I can start tweeting out what MCU movies we're watching on which nights. Because so far we've only watched Captain America, the First Avenger, and Iron Man. Because we're watching them in chronological order within the realm of the MCU, and we're going to be doing movies and I think just movies and Agents of Shield because we skipped Agent Carter and we're skipping the one shots and we're probably going to skip the Netflix shows because John and I have watched those far too recently to go rewatching them all over again. But yeah, we're doing the movies and we're doing Agents of Shield, and that should be about it. So yeah, we're right now we're only through Iron Man and Captain Avenger, the First Avenger, or Captain America, the First Avenger. Next on our list is Iron Man 2, and we're skipping Thor. The not Thor. We're not skipping Thor. We're watching Thor. We're skipping the Incredible Hulk because of how the original actor Edward Norton didn't stick around past that one movie, and we're just gonna the first time we see the Hulk is just gonna be in the Avengers movie.
Yeah, it's gonna be great, guys, because I'm so hyped for the stuff that Marvel's coming out with there. Rewatched the Black Mirror trailer several times. I can't believe. I mean, technically it drops tonight at like 3:30 in the morning, but I won't be able to watch it till Saturday. But I'm hyped as fuck for the newest season. Let me think. Shows. I already mentioned Steven Universe and
Why can't you
Adventure.
watch it tomorrow with your family?
Well, they're not into it for one, and I've already made plans with a friend of mine. We're gonna watch like the whole season together. So that's gonna be Saturday. That's
Oh,
gonna be
nice. That's awesome.
yeah, it's gonna be really, really fun. I can't wait to be totally depressed and want to kill myself.
I was actually thinking about that the other day. I almost feel like Black Mirror has become what it was parodying in the 15 million credits episode.
Oh, 50 million merits, you mean? So
Yeah.
what do you mean? Like,
Well,
what
because if you think about it, if you go back and watch just the rant from the main character when he has the piece of glass held up to his throat in that episode, he talks about how you take anything that might be real and pure and you grind it into this pulp and then you dish it out in rations until everyone has been so desensitized to it that it doesn't actually mean anything anymore. And that's kind of what Black Mirror has gotten to be. I mean, I'm sure it's still great episodes, but at the end of the day, Black Mirror is still a form of entertainment that you watch to take your mind off of the really bad shit that's happening in the real world.
Yeah, but I mean, first, I've only seen like 2 episodes though. Like,
I've
so
seen like 3 or 4 episodes, yeah.
I didn't think you watched that many. But yeah, like I don't know. For me, like I don't think it tries to lie though. At the same time, what I like about Black Mirror is even if it does succumb to the same thing that it's ranting about, I think there's like this cynical honesty about it. Because like in interviews that Charlie Brooker gives, he's like, "Yeah, we dole out hope cookies every once in a while, but most of the time we just piss on you." And I like that honesty. You know, it really is like it'll give you hope sometimes, but even the hope is kind of questionable in a way. And yeah, I just can't wait to see it. But anyway, getting back on track with the question. Um, yeah, I really not really too much for me this month. It's really just been philosophy focused, which is going to be most of my 2018 too. So yeah, probably won't be many like shows and stuff on my own time for quite a while. But yeah, it's
What
just been a
movies
tough
did we
20.
watch this month?
Iron Man, Captain America. Let me think. What else? Was that Nun movie this month, or was that a few months ago? Because I'm just trying to keep everything
Oh,
separate.
The Happy Hours. Yeah, I think that was this month.
Was it? Yeah, maybe. Um,
The movie that we just watched with Jim Carrey, Man on the Moon.
yeah, Man on the Moon. That was really good. That was really good.
What else have we watched? Oh, The Night Before. That was a good one.
Yeah, yeah, that was good.
Oh God. Back on first day of December, I watched a movie called A Dog's Purpose.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, that's the first time that I've cried watching a movie since I was like 11 years old.
Yeah, you told me that too. I can't believe I missed those tears. I'm still pissed about that.
And it's funny because the two most recent times that I've cried during a movie were both because of a dog dying.
Yeah, I'm just still racking my brain. I'm just kind of tapped out. So yeah, if there's anything else you want to say, we can move on.
All right, next up. What did Brandon just say? Disaster Artist? No, we haven't seen Disaster Artist yet. Anyway, second question from Rotten Butter. What do you think of the channel? Oh, it's just for you, John. What do you think of the YouTube channel Wisecrack?
Oh, I love Wisecrack. I think they're great. I think because I'm a contributor to this series, popular culture and philosophy. I've done a few, books, and it tries to cross promote like philosophical understanding with things in pop culture. So, say for example, like Deadpool and Dracula and stuff like that. I think Wisecrack does similar work, and I love them for it because I know some of their videos have even inspired me to go out and study the thinkers that they reference. They're actually one of my favorite YouTube channels going, like them and Philosophical Overdose, I think are really good. So yeah, nothing but big ups for me. To be fair, I only really watch their quick takes and the philosophy of, like, I don't watch their thug notes. I used to watch their 8-bit philosophy, but I'm guessing they're not doing those anymore because I thought that was a really clever idea.
Oh
But
yeah,
yeah,
we forgot to mention. We've also finished up watching Mr. Robot season 3 and Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency season 2.
yep, and one of those is canceled, and the other one thankfully got renewed. So
Yay, Mr. Robot!
yeah, it won out. So yeah, Wisecrack's totally cool with me, Ron Butter, for sure.
Yeah. All right. So then, third question from Rotten Butter is just for me. Why must you make it so hard to ask a personalized question to you? I don't know nothing about no sports ball or sports ball maths.
Yeah, so why do you make it so difficult, Ashton?
I don't try to make it difficult, I promise. I mean, if you don't know anything about football or football analytics, that's fine. You can still ask me questions about, oh shit, that is my life, isn't it?
And there it is.
Pop culture and music. Music is a big one. Pop culture, movies, TV shows, music. Um, YouTube channels, I guess, although I'm not as in the know about those as I like to be. Uh, yeah, I guess that's about it. God, my life's really, really boring. I'm sorry, Rotten Butter. I am very. You know, maybe in 2018 I'll make it a resolution and make myself more interesting or something. I don't know.
God, that's depressing as hell. Let's move on to the next question.
Next question is for both of us.
Okay.
Or, what is it good for?
Making pieces of shit a lot of money while a lot of innocent people die.
John, the answer is absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I know how the song goes. It's not the answer.
Why didn't you play along, you piece of shit? God damn.
Because you're an uninteresting bore and I'm a cynical asshole. So, next.
I'm so sorry, Rotten Butter. I tried.
Yeah, he never really succeeds at these things. I think it kind of hurts him emotionally. I don't know. I don't pay attention.
I'm not hurt emotionally. I'm just embarrassed that we weren't able to give Rotten Butter what he wanted out of this question.
Well, I really don't know what he. Oh, well, actually, I really can't blame him for that. He doesn't know what we're like when we're just kind of conversing and like using along, and I don't join in like 95% of the time. And yeah, that 5% just wasn't in stock today. Sorry, bud.
But yeah, John is right. War is, I mean, if we're taking the question seriously, it's good for lining the pockets of the weak.
Yep. Well, don't you mean lining the pockets of the rich?
Same thing.
Yeah, you're right. Next question.
We have 4 questions from Super Blue. First one is just for me.
Very popular, this Q&A. Look at you. All right.
How will the NFL playoffs unfold and who will win the Super Bowl? Oh, God. Okay. So
here we go.
here is what I think is going to happen. I think that the NFC playoffs are going to come down to the Rams and the Saints. And I know that the Rams beat the Saints in the regular season, but it's really hard to beat a team that good twice in one regular season. So I think the Saints are going to win that and go to the Super Bowl. In the AFC, oh God, kill me, please. I think that the playoffs are going to come down. Oh shit, Antonio Brown's out for the season. It can't be the Steelers. God damn it. It's going to come down to the Jags and the Patriots, and the Patriots are going to win, and then they're going to win the Super Bowl. And even if they don't, it's going to come down to the Patriots and the Saints in the Super Bowl, and then I'm going to put a gun to my head and pull the trigger.
This has been a very Ashton-centric Q&A because we just got a $2 super chat from my disowned son, Cliff. Ashton is boring. Wow, that seems really personal.
He's not wrong. That's the thing.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
Although, to be fair, he's kind of insulting you too because you are my friend. So the fact that you are really good friends with someone as boring as me must mean that you're not very interesting either.
Oh, God, I have to do better. Ew. But, yeah.
Besides, Rotten Butter. Maybe if you did as much research on my interests as you obviously have to do on John's interests, you wouldn't have such a hard time asking me personalized questions. Damn it.
I love that we come full circle to the projecting. This is great.
No, it's not projecting. I'm just going through the stages of grief. I'm just at anger now.
So, wait, you're not going to just break out into uncontrollable sobbing in like 20 minutes, are you? Because I'm not.
No, depression, no. It's denial first, which I guess I didn't go through. Then it's anger, then it's bargaining, then it's depression, then it's acceptance. I'm already at acceptance.
Oh, thank goodness, because I was gonna abandon.
I have a tendency to skip the denial and the depression stages. I just go straight from bargaining to anger to acceptance. And sometimes I don't even go through them that much either. I just kind of accept it and deal with it.
I mean, I'm glad to know that because I am not your emotional bedrock, just to make that clear. I mean, I am a scumbag. So, I was going to hightail it, but if you're cool, I'll definitely stick around and we can finish this. So next question.
Next question from Super Blue is for both of us. Will a jobber or surprise entrant ever win the Royal Rumble? No.
Can I just ask something not to be that guy? Because I read that.
You can ask whatever you want. You aren't limited to 4.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh my God, I'm unstoppable. No, I can't abuse the power now. Later. But no. In all seriousness, hasn't a surprise entrant technically won? Like 2009, for instance, right? Wasn't that when Cena came back and nobody thought it? Well, nobody air quotes thought he would come back, and he came back and he won it. Doesn't that count? Or is surprise like what AJ Styles would have been? Because nobody really knew if his WWE status was confirmed or not.
That to me, that's a surprise entrant.
Yeah, in that case,
John Cena coming back 6 months into an injury that they said would take 6 to 9 months to recover from, not a surprise.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. You know what, though? I'm still gonna, even knowing that, even having that clarification, I'm still gonna be on the more optimistic side, and I'm gonna say yes. Because I've often wondered the same thing, Super Blue, and I have to believe one of these days it's gonna happen. Because sooner
But
or later,
John, how can a surprise entrant win the Royal Rumble when we've already got to chalk up Roman Reigns to win the next half dozen of them?
well, I mean, he's got to get old and die eventually, and pretty soon WWE is going to run out of ideas to make the Royal Rumble interesting because they already had Kane's record be beat by Roman Reigns, and and sooner or later they're probably going to be like, you know what, we can make this guy's debut amazing if we have him win the Rumble. So yeah, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to be the optimist in this
I
situation.
really hope you're right, but I genuinely don't believe it's ever going to happen again.
Dude, I not only do I hope I'm right, but I hope it's somebody that you and I genuinely are invested in because
Here's
what
what
a
I'll
great
say:
way.
it won't happen until Vince leaves his position of power. Because when Vince leaves, all bets are off. But until Vince leaves his position of power, it's going to be pawn to queen for every year until that happens.
Fair enough. $2 super chat from Sal. He said Ashton is better than Norm of the North. Why do I feel like I've heard that before?
Is that a Game of Thrones reference?
I don't think it is.
Okay, I have no clue.
But I mean, at least you're better than somebody in Sal's eyes. And those are some nice eyes to be better than.
I mean, I think I'm better than nobody because I think that it's not fair to say that any one person is better than any other person. I think that we're all equals. So,
And we still got Sal's money. So I think we all won here. Next question.
all right. Wow, John. Next question: who should win the 2018 men and women's Royal Rumble matches?
Oh, man.
Who should win? He said who should win, not who will win.
I know. 2018. Honestly, I'd say Nakamura or Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens, since I think their act has just been so great. Or as like a surprise and like big baby face, Rusev, because he's ridiculously fucking over right now. It's not just because I love Rusev. He is over as fuck right now. So yeah, I'm definitely leaning heavily into SmackDown. Braun's obviously also a good
Braun
choice.
is my answer for the men.
Yeah, if I could just pick one, you know what? I would say Shinsuke because Shinsuke deserves better than what he's been getting. So I'll say Shinsuke. And for the women, honestly,
Sasha.
I'm still gonna go with Paige because I find that story more interesting. So I'll say Paige should win. And if Ronda wins, fuck that women's Royal Rumble.
Yeah. So I'm going to give one answer for each Rumble for each brand. So for Raw, it would be Braun and Sasha. For SmackDown, it would be Nakamura and Becky.
Okay, well then I'll copy you if you don't mind. Raw, I'm gonna stick with Paige. And then I'm torn between Braun or Finn, because Finn is also a guy that deserves better. Like
But
Braun
John,
be okay.
Finn Balor isn't over.
Oh God, ew. Um, yeah, you know what? I think I am gonna say Finn because you already took Braun, and I want to be at least a bit more interesting. I mean, I totally get why you said it, and I agree. But I think Finn is also a worthwhile candidate. He's a great fucking guy. You know, he's entertaining. He is over, despite what some old guy that for some reason just can't die soon enough happens to think. So yeah, I'll say Finn and Paige, and then for SmackDown, since I didn't give a woman for the SmackDown one, I'll say Nakamura. And you know what? Shit, because we have Charlotte as champion. If Carmella would cash in and succeed, I'm down with Becky. If Charlotte would retain, give it to Ruby Riott. Give the Riott Squad some real credibility by having their leader win a fucking Rumble. I think that'd be huge. So, yeah.
So you think we're going to get the big face down in the Women's Royal Rumble where the Riot Squad and Absolution are all in the ring at the same time and they eliminate a bunch of people and it's just those six and they face off?
Oh, definitely. Oh, we're absolutely getting that. And then you're going to have Becky just kind of walk over, survey the situation. And she's like, I can't tell the difference. Who's who? So, yeah, it'll be good stuff.
All right. Up next, our fourth and final question from Super Blue. Why did WWE change Asuka's finisher? And does it mean the villain is coming to the company?
Ha! Ha! I mean, first of all, no, because he's doing just fine in New Japan where he's not being ruined on a regular basis. Second of all, I think they changed it, and I hate to say it, but I have to keep buying into those Ronda Rousey rumors. Wasn't it even you, Ashton, that said armbar versus armbar, or did I read that somewhere else? I feel like somebody pointed
No,
out that they wanted
it
to
wasn't.
combo.
It wasn't me that said that. It was some other publication that said it. But I'm under the impression that it's not actually happening now because Rhonda has some kind of movie that she's going to be shooting. That the shooting schedule is going to conflict hard with the Rumble date. So I don't think she's actually going to be in it.
I mean, even if she's not in it though, like I think WWE they'll just keep building up Asuka in the meantime, keep building up that streak. I'll defeat it to Big Bad Ronda when she is ready. So I'll still stand by it, Rumble or no Rumble. Ronda's coming, and we've just all got to deal with it. It sucks, but
I
it's
don't
done.
necessarily even know if they changed Asuka's finisher because hasn't she always used like a variety of finishers? Like at sometimes she uses the kick to the head, sometimes she uses the Asuka lock. I'm pretty sure she won matches in NXT with the armbar as well. I don't think they're necessarily changing it. I think she's just continuing to do what she's always done and using various finishers.
I hope you're right. I don't know. Like in NXT, you're absolutely right. The main roster is a bit of a different animal. So who knows? Maybe they just thought the arm bar like had more like that MMA feel and stuff, and she could slap it on in seconds because they've already done those segments with like Alicia Fox and Dana Brooke where she gets it on in seconds and they tap out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. But if they did change the finisher, you've got my reasoning. And if they didn't, and it's just Asuka showing how versatile she is, well, then oddly enough, I actually think that's good booking because she has the streak, and there's no better way to show that somebody's dangerous and they have that streak for a reason than by demonstrating that they can beat you in a multitude of ways. So there you go.
Yeah. All right. Up next, 4 questions from Iconic Player One. First question: if Worldwide Underground follow Bullet Club tradition, which current or future wrestler or wrestlers do you see leading the stable?
Ooh, God, oddly enough, if you can believe this, I don't even know if I'll be able to get this out. I wouldn't be surprised if the Ricky Mundo storyline ended up with him leading Worldwide Underground in the future because he wants
See,
to.
now that's too ridiculous for even me to buy into, and I love Ricky
I
Mundo.
don't know, man. I don't know. I just Lucha Underground can do really colorful and out there stuff sometimes, and if anybody could pull it off, they can. I don't take anything off the table, so I could
See, I
see
was
that
thinking more
happening.
along the lines of like highly underrated WWE talent who get released for literally no reason, who end up being amazing on the indies and go to Lucha Underground. Then all of a sudden, there's a slot open as the leader of Worldwide Underground because Johnny Mundo either like abandons them or tells them to screw off, or they beat him down because they get angry at him for treating him like shit or whatever. And then that opening slot opens up, and all of a sudden, who is it? And I'm trying to figure out who that could be. I would laugh my ass off if it was Ziggler, but I don't think Lucha Underground would necessarily want him. Um, do you have any opinions on a guy that could fill that role?
Or hell, who even says it has to be a guy? Who's a woman that could kind of fit Johnny Mundo's mold? Maybe that would be interesting. And then
Uh,
maybe Taya could just kind of be like, if any woman's gonna lead, it's me, right? So you got that whole power trip thing going. And you just kind of
I
get
mean, I guess the reason that I'm thinking male is because I'm thinking like somebody that could have been like a WWE main event player, like Mundo.
right, right,
Like WWE doesn't really treat their women as main event players for the most part.
right, yeah. Yeah, you already got my answer. So I'm curious though who you'll pick.
I wonder if I mean if Drew McIntyre gets released by WWE because he's quote unquote injury prone, he'd be perfect for that role.
Yeah, he'd actually thrive in that role. I like that idea.
Stu Bennett's another one.
I was thinking him, but I that really didn't jibe with me like mentally when I was visualizing it, so I just kind of discarded that. But yeah,
Well,
maybe
those
that's
are
a good
my
one.
answers.
All right, McIntyre and Bennett. I'm going just immediate succession. Ricky Mundo. Hell, maybe what I would prefer
Taya.
honestly is PJ Black gets promoted and he leads a Worldwide Underground 2.0.
Oh, don't do that to me.
That'd be so good. So yeah, next question.
All right, next question from Iconic Player One. Have you seen Vikings, the show? If yes, review it. If not, get on it. Get to it, man.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, neither have I. Sorry, Iconic.
Next.
Holiday special. Santa deems the temple a cesspool of naughtiness and joins Lucha Underground. Fantasy book, a season long storyline where Santa is really just Scott Steiner with a big beard.
Oh God. Can you just have this one? I mean, you seem to be the
It
Scott
is for
Steiner
both of
ghost
us,
here.
to be fair.
Yeah, okay. Shit. You know what? Okay. So
Have you
And
ever
I'm
seen the movie Santa's Sleigh
no,
with Goldberg in it?
no. I know of it, but I've never watched it.
I haven't watched the full movie, but I've seen enough clips to have an idea of what it is, and I would book it exactly like that. Scott Steiner is quote unquote Santa, but he's really, as a character, Krampus. Like, he is this big asshole who goes out of his way to punish and destroy people who he deems naughty, no matter how petty his idea of naughtiness might be. That's my idea.
Yeah, this whole season-long thing, I'm just trying to think like how Scott Steiner would think, and I'm thinking some like really offensive stuff because Scott Steiner to me has just always come across as a guy that just has no filter. So like he comes to the temple and he tells Dario, and I'm not gonna do the whole like impersonation thing, but he's like, the temple I just think is just this absolute. I don't even know if Scott Steiner knows what a cesspool is. But like this is the problem with people in Mexico North. You start doing things like this, and I'm gonna clean up this temple for people that are on the naughty list. And I could see him like looking at Johnny Mundo as like this metrosexual, which he's not down with because of the long hair and the abs. So he's on the naughty list, and they do whatever. He strikes up a friendship.
You cut another. You're gonna have another feminine match.
Yeah, exactly. Another feminine match, and you got this woman here doing your fighting for you. Because you're just too busy thinking about, man, I can't wait to finally be able to go back on that Dunkin' Donuts.
What do you need those brass knuckles for? Use your closed bare fist like a real man, pussy.
Exactly. And then, he sees Mac and he's like, I'm Santa Claus, but it seems like you've been eating all the milk and cookies because you're fat. And he goes on the naughty list. He becomes best friends with Cage. Like Cage is like his second elf in command because
oh my god, fit. Cage is the Bernard to his Santa Claus.
Exactly. And they maybe find another guy that's jacked. Like I honestly kind of wish that a guy like Big Rick was still in the temple. Because I mean Matanza can't be Jeff Cobb, otherwise he'd be my choice in a heartbeat. But they would do like just in unison triple drill claws together. And like, and then just disperse gifts into the crowd, which the gift would be Scott Steiner's workout DVD and a coupon at Shoney's. So, like,
somebody just Lucha Underground, just go hire Rob Terry and bring him in. Or
there you go, perfect.
If you want to stick to guys that are popular in Mexico, go get Marco Corleone, and bring him in.
Yeah, Jindrak, you know what? He's perfect for what I'm kind of visualizing here. Teach him the drill claw and how to do it safely, and you just got these guys doing it in unison because they're fit and they don't do that, in Scott Steiner's words, we don't do that gay double team shit. We're individuals, we do shit on our own. And yeah, I just feel like the Santa version of Steiner would be kind of a self-promotion thing, and the naughty people are just fat people or people that just don't fit Steiner's definition of masculinity or just being a genetic freak. So, yeah.
I love Sal here. Come Steiner Claus here. Come Steiner Claus right down. Fat asses.
Yeah. Alex Foster, you just made the list, fat ass. Oh my god, so good.
Wait, is this Steiner or Jericho? I'm not sure.
I don't even know anymore. Next question.
Steiner Claus's new catchphrase is literally, "You're going on the naughty list."
Yeah. Oh my god.
For being a bitch.
Oh god, and then him interacting with the women of the temple. Like
I know, dude. I had that in mind too. Like, imagine him trying to seduce Katrina.
Dude, I still remember on Cole Cabana's podcast when Petey Williams, when he was doing the Petey Pump gimmick, how Scott Steiner tried hitting on his wife.
Oh, in front of him.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, you want to be with the real thing? Like, I could just picture him being like, yeah, Katrina, you say that you're dead. How about I resuscitate you under this mistletoe right here? You want to be with a genetic freak tonight? And just kind of looking at him like, dude, what even are you? What even is this? Oh, my God.
Oh my god. You don't gotta do the bump and grind or go behind to know that size does matter.
He would tell that to Masquerita too. Masquerita would be trying to talk to one of his freaks. And he would just say that exact thing. Oh god, yeah, Steiner Claus. That can't happen soon enough, apparently.
Oh my god. All right, next and final question from Iconic Player 1. Johnny Scumbag just became the president of the United States, and now it's up to you, Mr. Scumbag, to deliver your inaugural presidential speech. And just remember that the whole world is watching.
Oh, God. It's everything I've ever dreamed of.
I'm gonna
I
mute my mic
hate
for this.
I hate each and every one of you. And honestly, saying that is grossly understating it. The very sight of each and every one of your repulsive faces gives such a visceral reaction to my stomach. I couldn't even begin to describe it. And yes, that does include all of you that voted for me. What? You think that just because you went to a ballot box for 5 minutes out of your day, you scrawled my name on a piece of paper, you think that's enough to spare you from my wrath? No, 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 no. Policy number one: humanity was a mistake. We're going to make a ship large enough and we're going to send you all into the sun, but not before taking genetic samples from each of you. And we're going to do this shit over again. And I want a populace, I want a demographic that sucks less. Second of all, Johnny Mundo is my vice president. And to be honest, when I get sick of this job, he will rule over all of you because he's the closest thing to a perfect male. Yes, Adam Cole. Am I perfect too? Yes, Adam Cole. You're the vice president. I'm expecting you two to fuse so that you become the ultimate vice president. People that are not Johnny Mundo and Adam Cole, you have really done horribly by your life. You're horrible and you should feel horrible about it every waking second. Let's see what else. Dogs are overrated. Nobody wants to see cute little 5-second Instagram photos of your dog or Instagram videos of your dog doing something cute. Try harder, be interesting. Your pet isn't a personality trait. Let's see. Free education, because I can't stand not having actual substantive conversations with any of you. Again, do better. Refer back to point one. Let's see. Yeah, medicine. Honestly, your very existence is a disease. No medicine's going to cure that. You're not as funny as you think you are. Commentary needs to be cut down. Yeah, don't censor me, but I will absolutely censor all of you at will. And yeah, I can't believe you all voted for me when this was my entire platform. Democracy's a fucking joke. Welcome, in the words of, let's see here, what was that president's name? Oh yeah, Frank Underwood. Welcome to the death of the age of reason. This is the age of scumbag. Go fuck yourselves. That's my inaugural address. And if you voted for that, shame on you. Uh, uh, oh, and that's Sal immediately. Fuck you, John. Everyone wants to see my chop. Correction, Sal. People that have no taste want to see your chop. Now, see, that was a Johnny Scumbag thing. I personally love your dog and I love your face. And I have every intention of us having a hugging session after this where we cry for at least 2 minutes. Because 3 minutes, and that's a bit of melodrama right there. But 2 feels just right. So, next question.
All right, we have 4 questions from Mark Shoneman. First up, rank the top 10 WWE shows of the year.
Oh, Jesus. You know what, Ashley, do you want this to be like another collaborative thing? Because I'll be
Yes,
honest.
it needs to be. Yes. Do you want to start at number 10 or number 1? You just want to start at the best and work our way down?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Number 1, Clash of Champions.
I was going to say Clash of Champions. Yeah, we're in total agreement there.
Are you going to say number 2?
Number 2. Well, let me think. Fuck me. Let me think.
Nothing else, because the rest of the shows were awful.
God, was Great Balls of Fire at least decent? Because I know I hated Joe versus Lesnar.
I'll actually contribute to this one. I think number 2 would probably be Money in the Bank, right?
Money in the Bank, yeah, because Carmella won that, yeah.
And
Corbin, which that just ended horribly, but at the time we were super psyched about it. Didn't we get? No, we didn't get AJ versus Cena because that was last year, right?
AJ versus Cena was at Rumble this year.
Well, no, I mean their Money in the Bank match was 2016, not 2017.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with Money in the Bank.
Payback.
Payback. What was on Payback?
Payback. That was the first. I believe that was the first show after the Superstar shakeup. So it was kind of a clusterfuck. But we had Jericho Owens, Aries Neville, Hardy Boys versus The Bar, Alexa versus Bailey. Not the kendo stick on a pole match. It was when Alexa first beat Bailey for the title. House of Horrors. So say what you want about that. Rollins, Joe, and then Strowman beating Reigns in the main event.
Yeah, that sounds good to me because I don't remember hating that card. That was number 3. 4.
See the Chief in we can't include NXT Takeover shows because it specifies WWE, and WWE and NXT are separate brands.
Yeah. Number 4. I'm actually tempted to go with Great Balls of Fire because if nothing else, we got that ambulance match between Strowman and Reigns, which I thought was really good.
Oh, when that was?
Yeah.
Good nigga, Great Balls of Fire.
So, I mean, I do want it on the list. If not number 4, maybe a bit higher, maybe like 6 or something would be a better place for it. Because I'm trying to think. The Universal title match was Joe Lesnar, which I thought was kind of a dud after all the build-up.
Oh my
Can't even remember the
god.
women's championship match.
How about Extreme Rules?
That was the kendo stick on a pole match.
Oh shit, never mind. Fuck that.
What about WrestleMania?
Why was this such an all dude? WrestleMania was ass this year.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Fuck.
Main evented by Roman Taker.
Oh yeah, Jesus. And Rumble wasn't that good aside from like Cena Styles. So I actually thought it was their weakest match, if I'm being honest. But
let me look. Royal Rumble might not have been that bad, other than just the fact that Orton won it. But even then, that was before all of the air got taken out of the Orton Wyatt feud, so it made sense.
Charlotte, and it wasn't Roman Reigns, which everybody was just so stoked about. So
Owens beat Reigns. That was the shark cage match with Jericho suspended above the ring. Neville won the cruiserweight title from Swan. Yeah, I'll say Royal Rumble number 5 for me.
Okay, number 6. Did we agree on Great Balls of Fire as number 4, or did we still kind of debate that?
Oh no, yeah, Great Ball GBOF was there. Yeah, it was already there.
Okay.
SummerSlam maybe.
I was gonna say SummerSlam for my next one. That's what I would vote for personally.
Yeah, SummerSlam wasn't bad. It's a shame Survivor Series was such a clusterfuck because I would love to give credit to that show, but nah.
Because yeah, if we're going from best to worst, but even then, top 10, like even the worst still has to have some redeeming qualities, right? So, because things outside of that bubble, I think would be even worse.
Maybe Hell in a Cell.
Hell in a Cell.
Because we had Usos New Day in the cell in that.
That is true. Yeah,
I mean, and we had Orton Rusev, but it wasn't like the 30-second squash.
Yeah.
That was like a 12-minute match. And then we had Corbin Styles Dillinger for the US title.
Which was a good match. You know what? I'll go in on Hell in a Cell. I think it had enough redeeming qualities to earn a higher up spot, seeing as how, WWE pay-per-views usually are kind of meh on the whole. And I think only now on the SmackDown side, at least, they've kind of found their stride a little bit.
How about Elimination Chamber? Was that a good show? I don't remember.
Well, that was when Bray won the title, right? And then...
Oh, yeah. Becky defeated Mickie James. Apollo and Kalisto defeated Dolph Ziggler in a handicap match. What the hell?
But then he beat the shit out of him with a chair. Who won the Intercontinental title on the show? Was
American Alpha won a tag team turmoil match, last eliminating the Ascension. Natalya versus Nikki Bella ended in a double countout. Orton defeated Harper. Naomi won the title from Bliss. And Bray won the WWE title in the chamber match.
That was actually a really good show from what I remember. If anything, it's probably higher. It should be higher than the spot we're going to give it. But yeah, I'd absolutely give it that spot.
Well, Fastlane, was that show any good this year? Sasha Banks beat Nia Jax. Joe beat Sami Zayn. I don't even remember that match. It was probably pretty decent, though. Cesaro beat Jinder Mahal. I don't remember that at all. Big Show beat Rusev. I'm sure that pissed us off. Neville beat Jack Gallagher. Roman Reigns defeated Braun Strowman. Never mind.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, the Reigns Strowman match was good. I remember the Neville Gallagher match being excellent. God, WWE, you really fucked up having Neville walk out.
I mean, let's be fair. Clash of Champions is number 1. Everything else is, there's like a huge gap between that and all the other shows.
Oh, dude, absolutely. I feel like this year in WWE pay-per-views, not counting takeovers again, was really meh, if not outright, kind of a dumpster fire.
It was a rough year, man. It was a rough year. I guess, I mean, that was number 8. I guess we can give WrestleMania number 9, and then I guess Survivor Series number 10, just because of the spectacle. I don't know.
Yeah, I can agree with that, actually. I'm down with that. Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Thank Christ we're done with that question. what about the wrestling business do you hope gets left behind in 2017? And then he has in parentheses, and this is our second question from Mark, booking, mindsets, talking points, anything you want to talk about in the wrestling business that you hope gets left behind in 2017.
Well, obviously 50-50 booking, which I feel like they've gotten a little bit better about not doing.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wasn't even gonna mention that because I feel like they already kind of stopped doing that for the most part. I mean, they still do it on occasion with like mid card feuds, but that's about it.
As far as like talking points, and I'm not like
You know
trying to
what?
be
Here's what I'm gonna say.
okay.
The number one biggest thing in the wrestling business that I hope gets left behind in 2017 is the over reliance on suicide dives.
Okay. All right.
The number one thing in the WWE that I hope gets left behind in 2017 is having Alexa Bliss and Charlotte dominate everyone in their respective divisions.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I would love to see other female performers actually get a shot.
Yeah, no, that makes all the sense in the world to me.
Maybe another thing I'd like to see get left behind in 2017 is the trope that Sasha Banks can't retain a championship.
That would definitely be nice. As far as WWE goes, I'd like there to be like more colorful storylines that don't like revolve around a championship. You can have a personal feud maybe because like somebody started like a legitimate beef, not that JBL all women hate each other, Michael, but like a legitimate like, wow, you're an asshole, you tried ending my career, or you fucked with me in a really personal way. Like I'd like to see storylines have depth, that it's just because these two people are either hyper competitive or they hate each other, and it doesn't always come back to a title. Because you even mentioned that with NXT, and NXT still is to a degree WWE's best thing going. And I just feel like it's kind of a pervasive problem everywhere. As far as the wrestling business, and really it's only the old people that do it, but now I'm seeing certain UFC guys comment, and you don't know if it's going to become like a bigger talking point in the new year. Like, wrestling isn't a monolithic experience. There are a multitude of different styles, and I'd really like if the talking points of like, oh, well, this is crap wrestling and this is good wrestling just kind of dies off, because people are going to like what they like. I mean, hell, me and Foster, I'm sure we disagree on a lot. I know he's not big on Hideo Itami. I love the dude. He watches 205 Live regularly. I only keep up with the YouTube clips of performers that entertain me. But does that make Alex Foster a lesser wrestling fan than me? Of course not. And that notion is ridiculous. So like, yeah, I think really what I'd like to see just in general about the business and the commentators that have weight would be just dispelling the notions. One other thing I'd really like to is I would really like, and maybe that's because I took a journalism class in like high school, and I almost like, I kind of in a way have an affinity for it because I have a big respect when it's done right. I really would love more credible wrestling journalism in the new year, because I feel like so many people, it's a hot button thing, and then you and I have commented on it. So many people remark on the story that was just remarked on, like, oh, Paige is doing this or this person's doing that. Like, I'd love more substantive stuff, and not the kind of WWE stuff where they jerk themselves off and they ask Roman hard-hitting questions like, well, what's it like being back with the Shield, Roman? Like, I'd like actual quality wrestling journalism, because I think such a prospect is actually a very exciting one. I don't know, maybe I'm the only one that feels that way. But yeah, those are my two more broad wrestling points. Stop disparaging other styles. Don't be such a purist or this, that, or the other. That age is done and over with, and it's done and over with for a reason. And, for me, I think we still have a ways to go in certain aspects. And definitely more quality wrestling journalism, because I hate how deified a guy like Meltzer seems to be, when he seems to just kind of be a fucking asshole, and fuck him for spoiling Lucha Underground. And yeah, spoilers can always die in general, but yeah, those are my two more specific points. So that's my answer to that question.
Nice. All right. Well, I think the only other thing that I want to say is, and the reason that I'm not saying shit like, oh, I want to see the end of Roman Reigns being treated as a main eventer, is because I'm trying to be at least somewhat realistic here. I know James even said like you want to see the end of Jim Cornette. I've wanted to see that for years now, and it's not happening. And it seems like he's actually trying to get healthy at this point, so it probably won't happen for even longer now. But regardless, something that might potentially start to fade away in 2018 is the WWE's sort of insistence on having no male and female violence.
Yeah, with
the mixed match challenge coming up, I think that even if it's not going to be something that we see abundantly, I think there's a chance that we'll see at least some of it, and just something to kind of destigmatize that. Like, you're not advocating domestic violence, any more than you would be advocating domestic violence if two gay guys that were in a relationship with each other got into a fight at home. Well, now you've got two guys in the wrestling ring fighting each other. So why are you advocating gay domestic violence, you pieces of shit? You're not.
Right. Yeah, I'm totally down with that. I'm personally excited about what the mixed match challenge could mean. I know Zelina kind of mixing it up a little bit with the male talent. That's always really cool to see, and I hope NXT kind of lightening up on that. Who knows what else they could lighten up on? Always a reason to remain optimistic, I guess. So yeah, I can sign on to that for sure.
All right. So now our I believe third question from Mark. Um please oh shit. Yeah, this is for Johnny Scumbag. Please cut a promo on Ajit Pai and his oversized Reese's mug.
Oh yes, I remember this question from Mark. Yeah, and this goes back to the gender question where like I really don't want to do like the ranting and raving because honestly, people have already done visceral commentaries of that nature on Ajit Pai already. Um, to me, it's just disappointing. It's just really disappointing that once again, corporations and big interests went out. And I know wrestlers like I know TJP came out and said he was in favor of repealing net neutrality. And there were other kind of
Yeah, but did you see his reasonings for it? I legitimately believe TJP is a gigantic douchebag.
Oh, you and everybody else, it seems. And I was going to address that too, because everybody that appeals to the free market, I'm not even going to like use the word
But that's
communism
not what
or
he
anything like
did.
that.
He at no point did TJP say like, "Oh, we should repeal net neutrality because free market." He said we should repeal net neutrality because it's likely to get people off the computer, and he thinks that people should be communicating with each other more off computers.
Well, to be fair, Ashton, to be fair, you're right, but so am I, because he replied to a lot of people, and when he was replying to people, free market came up. So we're both right.
Oh
That's why I
wow.
mentioned free market. Yeah, he's one of those guys. No, I saw the tweet you're referring to.
Oh my
He
god, he
actually
is just such a gigantic doucher. I'm sorry. I don't like to say that about people that I don't know, but holy shit, if he could be any more transparent about it, I wouldn't need this.
But yeah, like again, I'm not like obviously all the more visceral criticisms of Ajay Pai done by like Double Toast and other commentators I really enjoy listening to. Like they've already done a better job than I ever could. I just think it's really sad that corporations went out, and what I was getting ready to say was that people like TJP and others that make appeals to the free market. And again, you're not going to hear me use the word like communism or any of that, but like for people like me, I live in a very remote area in New Hampshire. We only have one provider. So there's no competition there. It's already bad enough with net neutrality in place because I can tell you guys, we've had issues with our box. They come out, they look at it, and they're just like, oh, there's nothing we can do. So they come out and they literally do nothing. Then there are times when we feel like we're going to get a solution because our download speed is fucking pitiful and they turn off our box. So then we have no internet at all. And this has happened on some days where like, I'm afraid I'm going to miss a TWitWoW recording because it's a big commentary night, whether it's like a new episode of Lucha or just some big commentary. That's the horror of only having one provider and then not having certain regulations in place. Like how much more obnoxious could they become? So to me, the free market thing, it's not a matter of capitalism or communism or any of that. It's just like you act like everybody has competitors they can go to when oftentimes that isn't the case. Hell, the reason we still haven't gotten fiber optics out here with my personal experience is they say, oh, well, there isn't enough interest for it. So like, and again, that's just at their whim. We couldn't go to somebody that would be like, oh yeah,
Money,
we'll do that for you.
money, 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 money.
Exactly. And to get on the more personal side, like it's so now again, let me just say this too, because I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. I do think the courts are gonna beat it. And to be quite honest, if by some horrible nightmare the courts didn't, pretty confident maybe Congress would. I don't know. Point being, I do think that neutrality is gonna stay in place. So that's maybe my naive optimism, but it's there. However, it's sad that we even have to think about the next step. It's sad that we have an institution that is so unreliable that we think, well, thank goodness for checks and balances, which of course, thank goodness for checks and balances. But the idea that one guy is just, and he was the deciding vote. It was 2-2. Pi was the deciding vote. And we knew his answer to begin with. I watched both dissenting opinions. One woman, I wish I could remember her name, but like we've answered so many questions and my brain is like mush right now. She gave what she called a eulogy to the internet. And it was beautiful and eloquent and poignant and just everything. And then Pi gets on the mic and is like, so I could put you down for a no? And like everybody was laughing their asses off. And I'm just like, oh my God, this guy is the deciding vote. Now, I don't want to attack him too much personally. Again, enough people have already done that. But like I have read in the days leading up to the vote, I read so many stories about how net neutrality helped people. Like I know one friend of mine that's a leftist like me. She immigrated to this country when she was 4 with her family. Her and her mother did like hard labor. Her father, did like his own kind of thing. And because of net neutrality, she was able to work hard, invest in her education, and get accepted into MIT. Because of net neutrality, to make it personal, like I was able to really take my life back. Like anybody that knows me, if you watch the Mundo Markout video, and I've gotten comfortable enough with you guys at this point, like when I lived in Jersey and when I was in community college, I fucking hated my life. I was miserable. There's still a lot of collateral damage from those times that I'm working on now. But the biggest thing I did for my life because of a free and open internet was get into philosophy. And that was when I was 18, and I'm getting close to being 26 in February. I'll have been in the field for 8 years. And because of net neutrality, I didn't have to get into student debt to do something that I love, and really, to toot my own horn for 2 seconds, be damn good at it and do things that I never thought I would do. In February, I'm going to Colorado for my first conference ever. That's because of net neutrality. And like I've never known a happiness since doing it. I found my passion again. I found my life again because of a free and open internet. And stories like ours, me and the friend I just told you about, so many people. So many people. It's not just about with that video that he did gramming your food or watching your shows. I mean, James, and I hope James doesn't mind me, sharing this. He's been able to do online education and he's been killing it. Because for all the jokes I do about James, you're never going to find a guy that works harder or is smarter than this motherfucker. And he's been able to put a life together that he wants because of a free and open internet. It's not about gramming food. It's not about memes. It's not about pirating shows or even doing it legally through something like Netflix. There are livelihoods here that are created or sustained every day. And yeah, to TJP's point, is there a toxic side to the internet? Yeah, there's a toxic side to everything if you let it be toxic or if you impose that toxicity upon it. Like that doesn't come down to the internet. That's a psychological issue based on the individual putting that shit forward. And to me, it's just really a shame that a guy like Ajit Pai, who I know got tweeted at big time, ignored all of that, ignored all those stories. I was able to start a business because of this. I pursued an education because of this. I took my life back because of this. I made a life because of this. And all he could hear was just big corporations lining his pockets. And it happens over and over and over again. And if I sound tired, it's because I am. Because, like, this is just another thing that people have to scratch and claw for. How many times do we say no to net neutrality? And they keep doing it because they hope and they pray that political fatigue and apathy will set in. Ajit Pai hopes that fatigue and apathy will set in. And what I love, too, is they try and politicize it. Because I noticed, too, in some of the language, they're like, the Obama-era regulations. Because, and Ashton, I don't fuck with Democrats, right? Like, we've talked about this at length. So this is not me kissing Obama's ass. So I don't want words put in my mouth. But I love how, for Republicans, all it really takes for them, well, political Republicans. I'm not talking about, like, everyday citizens. But, like, for them to hate something, you just got to say that Obama was associated with it in some fashion. When the ironic thing is, Obama appointed Pai in the first place. Like, he brought him on board, and then he got this higher position. So, like, again, I don't want to be an asshole, but I'm just so tired. All I can really say is fucking think.
Well, and that's the thing too, is Ajit Pai was he was the chairman of the FCC when they put the regulations in place.
Exactly. So, like,
he was a supporter of the regulations.
You try and politicize it, and you try and say, well, this is an Obama issue, and we need a free and open internet. Like, I'm telling you, and I don't want to say this is a sad thing, because at this point, again, I'm trying to be more pragmatic in my politics. Anything to wake people up. I'm hoping that if our institutions, from the courts right down to our political institutions, have the balls to fucking do this, that they will hear something from everybody, because you can do a lot, right? You can threaten nuclear holocaust, you can do this, but threaten my internet. And again, I'm talking beyond like the Netflix and this and that, because the internet has been a game-changing force. Guys, when I was in community college, you know what the best part about it was? I had a microeconomics class. The whole thing was ass. But there was one essay I read, and it said, the world is flat. And that's because the internet made nations that, or you know, continents, nations, whatever, that weren't competitive into a competitive space. Look at India, and I don't mean to like pigeonhole, but they did mention the telemarketing industry, you know, with India and the call centers. Internet was a huge part of that, and now they're like this big competitor. The internet is this game-changing force that if you're trying to like impose this stuff on it, it is going to bite you back so hard, and honestly, they deserve every last fucking bit of it. And it's just, again, it's really sad to me that like I saw so many net neutrality threads just oozing with humanity and empathy and longing and vulnerability and just all this stuff. And all these guys can think is, yeah, but how fast is my check being written out though? But it's just, it's not surprising. Like that fatigue I'm talking about, I'd be lying if I said it didn't set in on me. Like, you know, you start out like, oh yeah, politics are important, but then you really look at the world and you see what politics really is. And like, no wonder. I don't even blame the people that say they're apolitical. I kind of roll my eyes, admittedly, but I don't blame them for it. Who wants this shit? Because you look at a guy like that screwing over so many people, and it's like, we're really doing this shit again. So yeah, my rant on Ajit Pai, I'm not going to make fun of you for your Reese's mug. I'm not going to make fun of you for your teeth. Again, other people have done that. I'm just really sorry for you that you're a shit human being that's so far gone. That, and really, I'm being serious. Like, you're so far gone you can't even connect with your fellow man on anything. You can't even appreciate suffering or this and that because you've done mental gymnastics that are so impressive. You feel like you're the good guy here, and yet you don't even know the damage that even if nothing happens, you wanted it to happen. And this is where I say, like, motivation does matter. Like, I get the consequences at the end of the day are the biggest deal, but even if there are no
Well, see,
consequences,
I don't even agree with you on that. I don't think that he had to play mental gymnastics at all. I think he's well aware of what this could potentially do to the average American, and he's not like trying to warp his mind to try and be like, oh, well, this could be a good thing. No, like he knows this is a bad thing. He just doesn't give a shit because of how much money he made to put that stamp on that paper.
and see, that's so sad because I've told you, like, I've been trying to go through a change lately where, like, I want to see the best in everybody and that people, like, can change. And maybe one day this guy would wake up, but I doubt it. I doubt it because when you're in a position of authority like he is and you get to line your pockets, it doesn't matter. And I just, and again, I'm being sincere. It may sound like I'm coming off like a dick, but I feel sorry for you. I really do. I feel sorry for the dude that, like, this is the life you chose to lead rather than really seeing the humanity of other people that benefit from this shit every single day in a variety of ways, myself included. And like I even said, like I did a Twitter thread and I even said, I don't know what my life would be if this shit actually went through. I don't know how I would continue my education or do what I do. And it terrifies me because I don't want to do anything else. I don't even know how this podcast would change, which is another thing I love doing with you. But like if the internet changed like that, like the thing I've wanted to make a livelihood for 8 years goes up in smoke. And like I don't know what I would do. I don't, and see, like, that's why people may say that I'm being hyperbolic, but I do think, like, to a degree, net neutrality isn't just an internet issue. It's a mental health issue. It's an economic issue. Like it's a multitude issue. It's not just one thing, right? And that's what guys like Pi, I think that they have no nuance. It's very myopic, and really, they're my myopic nature is just I'm making money. But yeah, I really feel bad for you, dude. That like that's your choice instead of actual genuine human connection and like protecting people. That's really fucking sad. So that's my answer to that.
Okay. You can still hear me, right?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
All right. Fourth and final question from Mark, fantasy booking question. And this is something that you have to read, John.
Oh, yes, that's right. Okay, let me pull that up. Okay, now he has the qualifier. Make the best show you can using the following parameters. I'm going to read those in a second. Do not repeat wrestlers and pick separate matches. So, you know what? Rather than reading the whole list one time, let's just go one by one and just pick because I think that'll make it a lot cleaner. So, one match from Wrestle Kingdom 11. I'll let you pick first.
Oh God, Wrestle Kingdom 11. All right, give me a second to look it up.
I'm going to look it up as well. I'm going to look up each of these shows as we go through them.
All right, one match from Wrestle Kingdom 11, and we can't repeat wrestlers.
Right.
All right, one match from Wrestle Kingdom 11. I'm going to go with Goto Shibata.
Okay. I will go, and this will be easy because let me see. Let me look at his list. Okay, all right. Well, yeah, it's still going to kind of complicate things, I'm sure, down the road, but I'll go with Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly. Okay, so next show that we're going to be doing here, WrestleMania 33.
Oh, Christ. Okay. Let's see. I will go with Seth Rollins versus Triple H.
Ooh, yeah, good pick. And since we can pick, we have to pick separate matches. That's what Mark wanted. I can't just take yours and be like, "Oh, that sounds good." Man, Mark, you're actually making me work. Man, Mark, that kind of reminds me of our little bit in Rocket League. Let's see. I'll say let me look at the other shows on Mark's list to make sure. Am I shooting myself in the foot here? Um, I don't no, I really don't like that match though. WrestleMania 33. You know what? I'll say Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho for that one.
Okay.
Okay, so I have Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly. I know you're keeping track of your own stuff, so I won't even ask you about that.
Yeah.
And now Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho. One match from TakeOver Orlando or Chicago.
Oh, I don't even need to look that up. I'm going to take Takeover Orlando, and I'm going to take the three of the triple threat DIY, AOP, and who else was in that? The Revival.
Revival. I don't need to look either. I'll take Hideo Itami versus Bobby Roode from Chicago.
There you go.
And okay, so 2 matches from G1 A block. Now I am gonna need your help here a little bit, Ashton, because I don't even know like all the I guess like we could look at the participants in the A block, and then they all.
I'll tell you who
each
the
other.
participants in the A block were, and you can just pick out individuals.
Okay.
Naito, Tanahashi, Fale, Goto, Ibushi, ZSJ, Ishii, Makabe, Yoshihashi, and Nagata.
Okay, Ishii versus Naito, and ZSJ versus Tanahashi.
Well, wait, I'm allowed to pick the same performers as you. I just can't pick the same matches as you, right?
Exactly. Well, actually,
Okay.
no.
Well,
they said do not repeat wrestlers and pick separate
yeah.
matches.
I'm not going to repeat any of my own wrestlers. I'm going to have my own unique card, but I'm still.
Oh, right. Yeah. I just misunderstood the question. Yeah, you're right. You're in the right.
Yeah,
Go.
because like you just took a monopoly on 4 out of 10 possible guys and left scraps, so I have to repeat some of your guys.
Right.
I'll take Makabe Ishii
Okay.
and Saber Ibushi.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Okay, now we have to do the same thing for the B block.
Okay, the B block was, and I'm going first on this one. Damn it! Omega, Okada, Evil, Suzuki, Tamatonga, Sonata, Juice, Toriano, Elgin, and Kojima. So I will take Omega, or not Omega, Okada, Suzuki, and Omega Elgin.
Okay, damn, you took 2 really good matches there. I guess it's what I deserve. Okada, Omega, and can you run down the names one more time, please? Actually, no. You don't need to. Juice Omega. Juice Omega.
Well, no, you repeated Omega.
Oh yeah, I said Okada Omega. Shit.
Do you want me to run down the list again?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay, you already have Omega Okada, so those guys are out for you. So then who's left is Evil, Suzuki, Tamatonga, Sonata, Juice, Toriano, Elgin, Kojima. You could do Suzuki versus Yano. That would be amazing.
Yeah, you know what? I guess I'll go with that. One match from Ultima Lucha Trace. I'll go first on this one. Mundo Puma.
Well, then shit, I'll take Hell of War.
Yeah, I figured one of us would take like one or the other there. Okay. One match from NXT TakeOver Brooklyn or War Games.
Dream Black.
Ooh, that's a good one. I can't do Adam Cole or Kyle O'Reilly because they were part of War Games. I need to pull up the TakeOver Brooklyn card. I apologize, but it's going to take me a second here. Over Brooklyn.
You could go with Drew Almas from War Games.
Yeah, oh, yeah. You know what? I will do that. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So, yeah, Drew Almas. Okay, and then one from any show, and it can also be from the above shows if you want to take another one from any of the shows that Mark asked for.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Oh shit! No, I did not choose. Oh shit! Yeah, I did. All right. Let me think really hard here. I am going to make a change to something that I did earlier
Okay.
to make room for something.
Okay, but in the meantime, can I just put my pick out there because I think I'd be good on this pick?
Yeah.
AJ Styles versus John Cena from Rumble. I'll just go with
Okay.
that because I didn't think I had AJ on my card. So yeah.
Okay.
Hooray! I'm done.
Yeah. Oh Christ. My A block matches. Oh God, this is so freaking difficult. I hate shit like this. Um, my A block matches. I'm gonna keep Saber Ibushi. I'm keeping that because that's a great match. I'm gonna swap out Ishii Makabe with Fale Nagata because I remember loving that match. Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good to
And
me.
then for the B block, I'm swapping out Omega Elgin for uh Evil Sonata.
Okay, I like that.
Because then my extra match is going to be Omega versus Ishii from G1 in California, in LA.
All right, that's really cool, man. I can dig that. That was
Yeah.
actually relatively painless fantasy booking. So yeah, I guess we can move on to our next question.
All right. Holy shit. Um, Next question is just for both of us, and this is from Stella. How was Christmas? We kind of already answered this, but we can just kind of go over it again, I guess.
Yeah, it was good. Low key, like I said, and that's just how I like it. It was a nice day.
Yeah, Christmas was good for me. I got a couple $100 from family, which is always a nice little bonus, and I always could use the extra money. YouTube is, we basically, here's the thing, like YouTube wise, we went from making like $30 a month from ads to like 350 a month. So
The system
Patreon,
works.
yeah. So like the Patreon and the super chats are the biggest help and probably like the main form of my income. So getting a couple $100 for Christmas was a huge help for sure. But yeah, it was nice to see family. I had a good day. My I don't know if you would call her a niece or a second cousin. My cousin Ashley's daughter was a real sweetheart. And they also had a couple of dogs on the property that I got to, play with a little bit, and they were sweet. And they had an absolutely adorable, sweet cat that fell asleep in my lap, even though it was literally the first day I had ever met this cat. So yeah, it was pretty great. Next question from Stella. She only asked three, so this is the second out of three, and the third one is only for Johnny Goodfellow. So the second one is the only other one for both of us. What goals do you have for 2018 as far as this channel is concerned?
I'll go first since I'm not as much of a visionary as this guy. I've always been an advocate of branching out into new stuff. That's why I'm so stoked that progress might be happening. I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch this time. But I've always liked when we can be a bit more experimental with the channel. Maybe again, progress I'm hoping happens. Shine, Shimmer, other promotions that we haven't even touched. I like it because again, we're this week in the world of wrestling. I always love when we go outside of our horizons and really see the audience response to that. So yeah, any chance to do anything new, anything novel, I'm always game for. And yeah, I think that'd be really cool. I of course would like to see us grow. And who knows, there may be some things that happen, that kind of move that forward. So yeah, I definitely think just the goal is always the same. Keep it fresh, keep it fun, and yeah, just keep growing our really awesome fan base.
Yeah. So the two things that I know we've already talked about that I should just bring back up here are potentially doing live reactions to other stuff, like non-wrestling stuff, like maybe live reacting to an episode or a season or whatever of like Agents of Shield or Rick and Morty or Mr. Robot, or reacting to trailers of movies that we're excited to see, or that kind of stuff. I don't think we'll ever stoop so low as to live react to like trending videos on YouTube or anything like that.
Right.
Stuff that we're genuinely interested in and that we're into, that people of our audience might also be into, that I would consider. And then the other big thing, I guess it's for this channel, but it's kind of also intentionally moving away from the channel because YouTube has the apocalypse thing going on, would just be shut the hell up, James. We're caught up on Dragon Ball Super. Who's the whore now?
I love how you just stop your stream of thought just to call him out. That's great.
Anyway, oh, he's saying to live react to Dragon Ball Super, but that's not going to happen because you and I don't watch that live. So anyway, um, the other thing would be moving over to Twitch and starting to do gaming streaming on Twitch.
Yeah,
And
I'm totally down for
cool
that.
for us for me to set up like a streaming setup on my end. You and I get into like a Skype call, and we, you play Rocket League, and people get to see my perspective, but they get to hear both of us talking about it, and we get to do what we would do pretty much any other night for like an hour and a half to 2 hours. But we just live stream it and hang out with a bunch of people at the same time. I think that could be a lot of fun.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I'd totally be down for that.
All right, so that's about the extent, and obviously progress is a big one. I want us to watch progress. Damn it.
Yeah, definitely. That's a big one.
I mean, if you think about it, if we just keep our heads above water and we keep that community goal maintained for the entire year, that's 52 chapters of progress. Do you know how far they are?
How far are they?
I think they're on like chapter 60 something. So we would get damn close to catching up.
Damn, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, next question from Stella. Or was that the last one of her set?
No, she has one for Johnny Goodfellow.
Right, about Kyrie Sane entering the Rumble, right? And how Johnny
Goodfellow. Yeah, what would you do? What would Johnny Goodfellow do if Kyrie ended up being a surprise entrant in the Women's Royal Rumble?
I don't know. I think it'd be nice. I think just hearing that music and seeing her beautiful smiling face, knowing how hard she works every day to be amazing at her craft would just make my heart so happy. And like, I think it would be so much fun, and I would root for her so hard to win because she's just so pure and good, and just in my opinion, which is just one opinion, of course, but I think she's better than everybody. And I think it'd be just amazing for her to win, and I would just want to share that love with everyone. And you're beautiful for asking this question, and I just love everybody. So that's how I feel about that.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done. We can move on.
Next question is from Bullet Club versus the Shield. She asked 2 this month, both for both of us. Who would you boys like to see return for the Women's Royal Rumble? And then she specified veterans. Victoria for me.
Yeah, Victoria. I mean, I was a Trish girl growing up, so I'll probably go with that because I'd be lying if I said anybody other than her. So I'd say Trish, and then honestly, I always was kind of a low key Jazz fan growing up, and especially going back and watching her stuff. So I think seeing her would be pretty cool. And honestly, the big one, and the only one that could be like bigger than Trish, just to see Karma one last time, just really come and like wreck shit would be really cool. So yeah,
the stare down between Karma and Nia Jax.
Yeah, oh my god, Karma is everything Nia Jax wishes she was, without the nepotism, I might add. You fucking coasting ass. So yeah, Trish, Jazz, Karma for me.
All right, that's good enough for me. I already said Victoria. I did say Karma. I don't know if you heard me because I said her and then you said her after I said her, as if you had not heard me say her. So I'm assuming.
Oh, I apologize. So yeah.
And then, man, would Melina be stretching?
I mean, probably.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a burned bridge between her and WWE, isn't it?
Possibly.
Maybe Michelle McCool.
I mean, I think she was one of the people to tweet about it. I mean, Beth Phoenix is another one that I think would be cool to see.
I mean, speaking of Michelle McCool, what about Layla?
Yeah, I wonder what she thought about all this, or if she even reacted to it, because I didn't see anything from her.
I wonder if Maria is interested in getting back in the ring. She could be an option.
I mean, we know she's still with the company, and she's just helping, Mike get through his stuff, which I hope that's going okay. But yeah, that could be interesting.
Although, isn't she pregnant?
Oh, yeah, I think she is. That would be awkward. You're preggers and you're in the Royal Rumble. That could go south very quickly. So
we're one step away from a Gene Snitsky Lita storyline.
I know, right? Wasn't my fault, Maria. God. All right, well, I think we gave.
Yeah, that's about it.
So, yeah, next question from Bullet Club versus the Shield.
Second question from Bullet Club versus the Shield. Since Seth won't be a main eventer for Raw anytime soon, You think he should get drafted to SmackDown Live and feud with AJ Styles?
100% fuck yes. I have been championing that dream match forever. So it's a resounding yes from me.
You've been championing your face off for that match.
Damn right I have.
Oh man. All right. Well, I mean, obviously my answer is yes, but I also think that it would be hilarious if Seth got drafted to SmackDown and then AJ came to Raw.
So once again, it's like, oh, you thought you could release Blue Balls 444 live.
Except for AJ Styles.
Except for AJ Styles. That's right.
So all right, next up we had two questions from Demon Rocks. First one is just for me. Do you agree with me that Priscilla Kelly needs to go to a Rise seminar? From what I understand, she's already been to at least one, but I mean, just going to more could never hurt. From what I understand, you going to Rise seminars helps you to get noticed and potentially get on the card. So yeah, keep going to them, I guess.
And that was your question, so I got nothing to add. We can go on to the next question.
All right, next question is for both of us. What do you think about Ring of Honor finally bringing in a women's championship and partnering with Stardom for the Women of Honor camp?
I think it's a good move. I mean, look, anything, and it's not one of those kooky concepts like, oh, what if we do this, or what if we move to this location, or what if we have this type of rent? Like, no, it just seems like a logical step. Because Jackie would know more about this than me, but I feel like Ring of Honor did good business recently with their women. Because I feel like Taylor Hendricks was in a feud with somebody that was really successful, and yeah, it just seems like a logical step to me. So, I mean, I'm not the biggest Ring of Honor fan, but, I do think women deserve equal opportunities, and then that's why I love, what Lucha does with their women. And if, Ring of Honor wants to do their own thing, I say it's about damn time, and I wish them the best with it.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, I mean, I personally haven't really found a connection when it comes to the Women of Honor stuff. Maybe it's just the ROH style, because to me, the ROH style is basically just like a watered down New Japan, watered down PWG. Like it's somewhere in between WWE and those better in ring companies as far as how watered down it is. I'm just not into the in ring style that you see in Ring of Honor. Like I've seen a match, I saw a match that was like Deonna Purrazzo versus Candice LeRae, which I feel like if we got that match in the exact same match in NXT, I would enjoy it, but it was boring as hell to me in Women of Honor. So,
Right.
and plus, from what I understand, they are partnering with Stardom, but I really don't see very good odds that any of the Stardom only women are going to win the Women of Honor titles. So I just can't force myself to give a shit.
Yeah, that's totally understandable, man. All right, I guess we can move on.
All right, we got four questions from Ace the Skylord. First up, what do you wait? No, that was the last question. When Dario Cueto got shot during the season 3 epilogue, he called his father for help. Does this debunk the theory that Papa Cueto is the Lord? Yes.
Yeah, it does. I think we even had an extended conversation about this on one of our Lucha commentaries. So just to reiterate very simply, yes, it does. Absolutely.
Second question from Ace the Skylord. Over under 30% chance Rey Mysterio gets killed in season 4.
I'd say over, because isn't it confirmed that he isn't a part of season 4?
Yeah, they're totally gonna kill him off by like writing him dead.
Yeah, like that.
Oh,
Whatever.
you know what? Actually, no. I'm gonna say under because I don't think they're gonna write him off. I think he's gonna show up on like a missing poster or something. He won't die. He'll just disappear, and we won't know where he is. Because I think Lucha Underground wants to keep that door open that they can bring him back anytime.
That is true. Yeah, because the only time they kill people is when they have a new gimmick for them and they recycle them. So like people that have actually severed their tie to the company, yeah, because we
Well,
already
and also when they just only sign someone for a certain amount of seasons and don't plan on bringing them back, like Conan, Big Rick, Davari.
right. But yeah, even those guys though were just missing posters. Unless you read the comics, then Big Rick died.
Right, I
But
was gonna say, yeah, Big Rick is confirmed dead.
yeah, but like for the majority of people, just kind of build on your point. I mean, we did see that board in Vasquez's office, with the whole police storyline, and yeah, I like that. I think it's not only clever tool narratively speaking, but it is kind of their own way of saying we never like to close doors. We don't believe in a closed door in most cases, and so yeah, they'll probably give him his own missing poster, which fine by me.
Or his own version of a missing poster, by not necessarily be a literal missing poster, but something along those lines that kind of implies no one knows where he is, but doesn't outwardly say he's dead.
Right, exactly.
Third question from Ace. Will Matanza ever show human emotion or will he remain a monster forever? I do think he's going to eventually show human emotion because Jeff Cobb is too much of a big teddy bear sweetheart to not let him be that character.
I definitely think the evolution is going there. I'd really love for it to be, and I don't know why I'm still stuck on this moment from Aztec Warfare, but I'd love for him to really explore his,
Mariposa.
Mariposa. Yeah, I think that'd be an amazing storyline. Or if you want to continue with the internal like family turmoil and that old connection, like have him broaden his range of emotion with Cueto, his brother. I'd say either a family member or a love interest are like the best ways to go. I mean, it may be a bit cliched, but Lucha Underground can make cliche seem like novelty and something exciting. So yeah, I definitely say either Mariposa or Cueto, and I definitely think human emotion is on the horizon, even if they don't go with those options. So next.
Up next, we have our fourth and final question from Ace the Skylord. He said kind of a random question. What is your favorite movie trailer?
It's so funny that this question was asked because I just told you and your mom last night that I think the Avengers Infinity War trailer is like one of my favorite trailers that I've ever seen because I just feel like everything's perfect. From Samuel L. Jackson's like opening kind of narration, there was an idea, and then like it goes to everybody else. The music, the score in that trailer, a thing of beauty. The action was just right, and the ending with Thor and the Guardians, just everything. They checked every box. Best part is seeing Iron Man get punched the fuck out.
Who the hell are you guys?
Yeah, it was just it was a sublime trailer, and like it's crazy because Infinity War more than likely it may be one of my favorite films, but I don't think it'll be my like the definitive favorite film because that already belongs to Whiplash, which is a fucking cinematic masterpiece. But I think I even remember the trailer for that, and like the trailer was like all right, but Infinity War, like man, I was salivating. I've watched that trailer like I've even told like you and your mom again like over 20 something times. So yeah,
See, and I would say I've watched it maybe like 6 or 7 times total.
Yeah, so like me watching it at a high volume, I'd be crazy not to go with that. And yeah, maybe it's recency bias a little bit, but it's really good and well earned recency bias. So I'm standing by it and screw everybody else.
Here's a question for you, John, because to me, a trailer's job is just to make the movie look amazing. So here, my question for you is, have you ever had this experience where you watch a trailer and you come away thinking, holy shit, that movie looks incredible. I can't wait to see it. And then you see the movie and it's just kind of or maybe even actively not good.
Oh yeah, definitely,
Can
definitely.
you think of any examples of that experience?
I feel like most comedies fall into that trap. Cause like, like I'll see a trailer and I'll be like, oh, that seems kind of funny. And then like you watch the whole film and like I don't laugh nearly as much as like I expected.
Literally, the only funny parts in the movie were already in the trailer.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So not to again give general, but like yeah, I'd say the comedy genre probably suffers for me personally the most from what you're talking about.
Can I
But what
tell
about
you what the number one example that comes to my mind when I think of that trope is?
sure.
Sucker Punch.
Oh yeah, God, everybody hates on that film. I don't remember it being that bad. But
No,
yeah,
I'm
like
not hating on the film. I don't think the film was horrible by any means. But when you watch that goddamn trailer and you have When the Levee Breaks by Led Zeppelin playing over it, and you see these epic visuals and this gigantic stone samurai with a minigun and shit like that, your expectations go through the goddamn roof. And
yeah.
I saw that trailer before the Hangover movie, like the comedy The Hangover that came out in like 2009 or 2010 or whatever. I saw
Right.
the Sucker Punch trailer as a before that movie, and like I immediately was like, holy shit, this is going to be the best movie of the next year. I don't remember what year it was, but the following year. And then the trailers, like every trailer that came out, every unique trailer that came out made the movie seem less interesting than that first time I saw the trailer for it. And then by the time the movie actually hit, all of my interest in it had waned. And then the reviews came out and they were like, oh yeah, it's actually not good. And then I saw it and it was like, oh, I mean, it was all right. It was probably better than the critics gave it credit for, but it really wasn't a very good movie. And I was just,
Right.
I don't remember ever being more hyped for a movie that disappointed me than with Sucker Punch.
Right. Yeah, I can understand that. But what is your favorite trailer? Because I don't think you ever formally put forth an answer. Because I said Infinity War. What
Well, no,
about you?
that would be. It's not. It's not. Is it favorite trailer? Is it favorite or is it best? It is
I,
your.
I,
Okay, well, Sucker Punch is up there, but I would say my favorite trailer. Honestly, it might be Ready Player One, the recent one that came out over the last few months.
yeah, my friends have been raving over that shit. Like, I think we watched that trailer together, didn't we? I'd have to watch it
Yeah.
again and see how I feel about it. Because, like, yeah, I really
I mean,
didn't.
the thing is, there are way too many. Like, the easy thing to do is to say Infinity War because of recency bias, like you said. But
Yeah.
I mean, if I really try and like think about it and break it down, I can remember a few instances of getting super duper excited just this year. And it was like Ready Player One, Thor Ragnarok, Infinity War, Black Panther, Spider-Man Homecoming, Deadpool 2. Deadpool, I'll say, you know what? I'll say Deadpool. The first Deadpool trailer that came out where it was Ryan Reynolds coloring in like a coloring book, and then he gets into that vehicle and he starts killing everyone and he flips the vehicle, and then we see like the scene where like he holds his hands, some other guy's hands up that were detached from his body, I guess. He's like, don't shoot, and all that. And then we get to see him like shoot one bullet and it goes through three guys' heads. That trailer might just be my favorite trailer of all time because that was the first time that I ever really felt like a comic book character that I had a deep connection with was being portrayed as basically identical to their comic counterpart in a movie.
I can dig that, man. Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll say Deadpool. Yeah, that'll be my answer. All right.
All right, let's move on.
Up next, we had 4 questions from Alex Foster. First question is for Johnny Goodfellow.
Oh, okay.
How's the production going on your cooking show, bud?
It's going so great. You know, the outpouring of support has just been amazing. I mean, between you with your coffee jelly, Foster, which I try Googling recipes. Scumbag doesn't like that. He thinks that's too nice. And, Bullet covers the shield. She wants her cookies. I know her and Jack can be a bit, tense sometimes, but I just try and love everybody and be good to everybody. I'm trying to figure out what Kyrie Sane likes. I want to ask her directly, but I'm really shy about it. So, I'm working on it, and I think I would dedicate a whole episode to that. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get into the Netflix space, but if they don't want me, I understand. Everybody's different. That's okay. So I thought, maybe Amazon Prime would be a good substitute, but I'm hoping we get taken off somewhere, or taken on somewhere so that we can take off. And yeah, it's just been a really, really positive experience, and I find cooking to be very therapeutic. So thank you so much for asking.
What's your favorite recipe?
Oh God, I love snickerdoodles. They're just so easy and so pure and so delicious in the tummy. But, I am looking more into cakes, just kind of, broaden my horizons a little bit. And yeah, I mean, I'm just hoping to continue to grow, as I think we all are. So yeah, that's my answer to that question.
Are you back?
Yeah, we're good. Oh God. Next question.
Next question's just for me. Next question's just for me.
Thank fuck.
If you had to give Roderick Strong a special WrestleMania entrance, how would you go about it? Oh God. You basically like, is this like challenge mode? Because it feels like you gave me the person with the least distinctive personality ever, and you're asking me to make something larger than life about them, and I just don't get it. Um Shit. Yeah, a gigantic blow up Energizer Bunny follows him to the ring.
All right, next question.
That's all I got, man. There's nothing else about Roderick Strong that stands out about me, or that stands out to me. Third question from Foster. In Dragon Ball Super, what would you have Frieza do after the tournament, assuming Universe 7 survives?
Ooh, God. First of all, discover what the internet is so he could record himself with that laugh and just put it on a loop and get the highest subscriber count ever. But mainly, I've actually found Frieza interesting in this Tournament of Power arc. I don't think he's going to become good by any means, but I actually do feel like he'll become a more significant villain in the aftermath. And so, yeah, I guess he'll just try and go by the same plot points, kill Goku, kill Gohan maybe and Vegeta because he hates Saiyans, that racism and everything. And who knows, maybe it would be Gohan's time to stop him, because I feel like even though the attention's been taken away from
Oh my
Gohan a little
god.
bit with that instinct mode from Goku, I'm still hoping they put it back on him in his training. Hey man, it was an asked question, I'm answering it. You and your sass over there.
No, it's just always got to be either Vegeta or Gohan. It's just fun.
I mean, it's probably gonna be Goku to stop him, but I feel like, at the same time, like, Super's been better about giving different people development, and like Goku just attained Ultra Instinct. He hasn't mastered it yet, so now I feel like, all right, well, we already know Goku's the strongest, so let's just kind of raise somebody else up a little bit. I mean, God, with how Super's written, I wouldn't be surprised if Krillin got another major moment for himself. So yeah, it'll most likely be Goku. So I'll say wishful thinking for Gohan. I notice I didn't even say Vegeta because I don't even expect that anymore. They've beaten me down so goddamn bad. But yeah, he'll probably do the same plot points. I'm gonna try and destroy everything and then fail. But I think this iteration of Frieza is so much more interesting than DBZ. So whatever he does next, I'm definitely into it.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So I honestly, if we have to keep Frieza around and he's gonna be like the big bad after this arc, I I would have, well, no, see, because like here's the thing. I would have Vegeta. My whole thing is I think Vegeta is going to be the MVP and he's going to wish at least universe 6, if not more than just that universe, back into existence. So under that premise, Frieza would not have the luxury of Goku wishing him back to life. So he would have to use some other method of deceit to come back to life. And in that case, I would actually want Kaba to be the one to defeat him.
Oh, that'd be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I would freaking love that. You have Vegeta training Kaba and like teaching him these ways, and maybe Kaba even does something that not even Vegeta has ever been able to do and goes Super Saiyan 3, and he uses that form to beat Frieza.
That would be interesting. Although his gold form just seems so legit right now, though.
But
So
you've also got to remember that when Kaba hits Super Saiyan 2, he gives Blue Vegeta a run for his money.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
So
like the
yeah.
Universe 6 Saiyans have gotten so strong in their base forms without knowing what Super Saiyan was or that you could reach it, that when they do reach Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 2, etc., it's the multipliers that those forms give them to their base form just takes them way past what you would expect from Universe 7 Saiyans at the same form.
Yeah, that is a good point. So yeah, that would be because I love Universe 6. Again, there's a lot about Dragon Ball Super that I am just really, really digging about their world building and stuff. And Universe 6 is a big part of that because their Saiyan race is fucking legit. And if one of them, like if what is the fusion between Khalifa and Kale?
Kefla.
Kefla. Like if Kefla would defeat Golden Frieza, I think that would be a badass fucking fight right there. So yeah, giving it to Universe 6, and I know you mentioned Kaba specifically, I think giving it to any of them would be cool as hell. So I'm down with that.
Yeah. So that's my thing. I think we have one more question from Alex Foster, and that is if wrestlers had their own days like Rusev, how would they be celebrated?
Oh god. Well, if Aiden English had his own day, it'd probably just be nothing but singing nonstop. If Becky Lynch had her own day, I know the national
Puns!
food. What was that?
Puns!
Puns and lettuce is like the national food.
Yeah.
Chad Gable would probably just, I mean, he's all about that training and shit, so he'd probably just have everybody train and suck less. And yeah, I feel comfortable with 3 because I could go on and on. What about you, Ashton? Name some other
I mean,
people.
we already have National Stone Cold Steve Austin Day, March 16th every year.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Damn, I didn't even think
So
about
I
that.
think the tradition is just to, crack open a Steve Weiser and do your thing there. I feel like, my mom just suggested Dean Ambrose Day, but there's really nothing that makes any sense as far as like a tradition to do on a Dean Ambrose Day. Is his
What
gimmick supposed to be that he's wacky and crazy and unpredictable, but he's just like a random guy that's kind of a risk taker.
what about Finn Balor Day? Is that the day that we get to unleash all of our inner demons through body paint? Maybe.
Yeah, that dude, that would be sick. Imagine an official international or national, either way, Finn Balor Day, where you're allowed to paint your body for work as long as you avoid like racially insensitive shit.
Yeah, that sounds fucking awesome.
That would be amazing. That like you and I, and it was your idea, and I expounded upon it. We just came up with the best idea.
Yeah, I don't even really. I feel like any other answer we could give would be inadequate. I'm ready to move on because is there one more set? How many more questions do we have? Because usually Foster's the end, but you didn't say
We
that.
have two more sets of questions.
That's not bad. All right, let's get to it.
Ben Jr. is up next. He asked 4 questions. First up, I'm really looking forward to Naito Okada at Wrestle Kingdom 12. Can you name your top 5 favorite Wrestle Kingdom matches? I'll let you go first on this one, John.
Well, Okada Omega was brilliant from Wrestle Kingdom 11, obviously. Makabe Ishii from Wrestle Kingdom 9, because that was my first introduction to strong style from Ashes, so that was great. Wasn't Nakamura Ibushi from Wrestle Kingdom 9 as well?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean Wrestle Kingdom 9 was just a fucking great show.
Right?
So that's 3. Let's see, 4. Because I'm trying to think. We've seen, by that logic, then we've seen 9. Did we see 10 together? Were we
We've seen 9. We've seen 9, 10, and 11, and the last 3 or 4 matches of 8. I want to say.
Yeah, let me just look up very quickly Wrestle Kingdom 10. Because like Wrestle Kingdom 8, I guess I would say like Balor Ibushi was really good. But I want to just check Wrestle Kingdom.
Well, I'll tell you straight up, my number 1 favorite Wrestle Kingdom match of all time, out of the ones that we've watched, Wrestle Kingdom 10, Tanahashi Okada.
Oh, right, because didn't Okada finally beat Tanahashi on that show?
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, I would say that my number 2 favorite WrestleMania or Wrestle Kingdom match of all time, out of the ones that we've watched, is Tanahashi Okada from Wrestle Kingdom 9 because of the drama that went into Tanahashi winning that.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you know what? That would be number 3 because number 2 would be Ibushi Nakamura. So those are my top 3 right there.
I already mentioned 4, but you know what though, Ashton? I remember really getting sucked into that Okada Tanahashi match and being deflated when Okada lost. And even though it's weird that I would pick a match where I had a negative reaction at the end, like to know that I was so invested that I would hit such a low ebb, I think speaks to how big of an Okada fan I was back then because I was all in on Okada at the time. So I think I'll pick that match. That was a really good match from what I remember. So that'll be my 5th one to round it out.
My number 4 is Shibata Ishii from Wrestle Kingdom 10.
Awesome.
And I think I'm going to roll with you and say Ishii Makabe. Although on that same show on Wrestle Kingdom 9, we also had Suzuki Sakuraba, which I loved.
Yeah, that match was so good. I fucking love Suzuki.
So we'll just call it a 2-way tie between those for my 5th spot.
Okay, next question from Ben Jr.
Dude, Wrestle Kingdom 9 was fucking amazing.
It was, dude. I hope Wrestle Kingdom 12 is just the shits because I'm really hoping that.
Yeah. Like Wrestle Kingdom 10 was really good too, but it had a couple of, well, it really had at least 1 or 2 disappointing matches on it. And Wrestle Kingdom 11, like, it's one of those shows that feels amazing in the moment, but in hindsight, it doesn't live up to it.
Right, because like at Wrestle Kingdom 9, I could go back and watch the Intercontinental match and probably the World Title match and still get those goosebumps.
Right.
I don't know if I could do that from anything save for Okada Omega for me personally from Wrestle
And
Kingdom.
even Okada Omega is like really amazing, but I don't think Okada Omega would rank. Like if I had to just look at the main events from the 3 Wrestle Kingdoms we've watched, that's the worst one of the 3.
Right.
Like I would rather watch Tanahashi Okada from either 9 or 10 than watch Okada Omega again.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that, but I can understand where you're coming from, certainly. So yeah, next question from Ben Jr.
Next question from Ben Jr. is, what are your goals for the near future?
This is just in general.
Yeah, that's all it says. Just goals for the near future.
Yeah. You want to go first?
Sure. I don't know if you would call it like a 3-year plan or whatever, but by the time I hit 30 years old, which is in 3 years, yes, I'm that old, you dicks. By that time, I want to be under 250 pounds, which I have this whole weight loss thing that I'm doing. I've lost about 45 pounds this year or so. And then I also want to be completely out of debt. So those are my two main goals. He did say near future though, which like those are like my two big life goals right now are to get down to under 250 by the time I'm 30 years old and at that same time be out of debt completely. So that's like the closest to near future goals I have. As far as like near future, like within the next few months, I mean, I would like to start streaming on Twitch, whether it's by myself or with John. I would prefer it to be with John just because, you know, security blanket and we're best friends and it's amazing. Um, and I would like for us to start doing progress live reactions. Those are my near future goals. So yeah. What about you, brother? Oh,
Um,
by the way, since I know you're going to talk about philosophy, I get to talk about football too. I want to be able to identify quarterbacks in college that are going to be good in the NFL by only looking at numbers. I only want to look at height, weight, age, athleticism metrics, and their passing stats in college football in order to determine who's going to be good in the NFL and who's going to suck in the NFL. That's my number one goal right now.
love it. Well, I mean, what?
What James said in chat.
Yeah, yep. That's our James.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I mean, thinking near future, which I mean, it really depends on how you define near. So I may be taking some liberties here. But to to get healthy-ish, I gotta say that this year was kind of a dumpster fire in that department. But I am looking, to start therapy soon. Get my anxiety under control to be, just better because I'm really not liking where I am right now on that front. So that's gonna take some work. I want to do a lot more volunteer work. I kind of talked to Ash about volunteer work that I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to get into the specifics of that because I've got a long way to go with it, but I'm definitely going to be starting something soon that seems, very promising, and I'm hoping I can help a lot of people. And then yeah, just philosophy, just keep killing it, keep doing projects. I mean, I got my first ever conference after grinding for 8 years in February. I still need to get my paper done. I got some disheartening news today. Like I'm very constricted, but I think I'll be okay. Also doing a book with a major publisher that's going to be open access on poverty, which is really cool that I get to write about that. I submitted an abstract recently that if I get that accepted, I may be able to revise my paper and be a part of the biggest academic publisher in the world, which would be like an academic textbook, which means I would get royalties. It would be my biggest professional job that I've ever done for anybody. So yeah, I mean, really outside of my health, because like with I've always said this about TWitWoW, like Ashton's the visionary. Whatever maps he draws up, whatever plans he draws up, I'd follow him till the ends of the earth. My focus for me, selfishly and personally, is always philosophy. I'm always looking for the next project. I'm always looking for the next book. I'm always looking for the next thing to take my career up. I've flirted with the idea of going back to school. I mean, that would be more 2019, so not necessarily near future, but
Ooh.
I don't think I will though, because like every time I flirt with the idea, I remember, oh wait, I'm poor and disabled, and it just seems like way too much of a hassle and way too many sacrifices for something that honestly I think in hindsight would make me miserable. I love being independent. I love doing the research that I'm doing, and I think I would only want to go back to school if I knew like a and again, I don't want to be that asshole, but if I knew like a scholarship or something was guaranteed to me, because the body of work I've done by myself in 8 years, like, if I'm being truthful, I feel like that's what a lot of grad students want to do when they get out, and I'm already kind of doing it in a way. So I would want some promise of security. So I'm just going to keep doing my thing. But yeah, it's really just to be great and to hopefully help people while doing it. Like the things that I'm writing about are so resonant with me that if I could just help one person, with what I'm kind of saying. And again, that also goes with the volunteer work, because philosophy has definitely kind of changed me as a person. I think it's kind of, made me more aware, more empathetic in a way. It's been a great healing process. And yeah, it's just to get better in my career. It's just to be respected. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm thinking 2018 will be kind to me, hopefully. So there you go.
2017 sure as hell was. I'm sure 2018 will be just as good, if not better.
And to you as well, my friend, because I've been loving the work you're doing. You're going to be making that bank soon enough. So let's just keep kicking ass. Next question.
Next question we'll get to. First, you got to read James's super chat.
Oh, he did another one? God damn. $2 super chat. Ashton, you're an old piece of shit. Go get life insurance. Ashton, do you have a retort?
Oh, I already retorted in chat. I said, fuck you, James. I don't have any family that would benefit from life insurance, you fucker.
Wow. I noticed tensions seem to be a little high. Why don't we just say something nice about each other? But, oh, fuck it. James doesn't say anything nice about anybody. Let's move on to our next question.
Next question from Ben Jr. What was your favorite moment on live reactions and why?
Um, Wait a minute. I feel like I almost missed part of that question. Favorite moment on live. So like any live reactions, do you mean, or did he name a specific show and I missed it?
No, it's just anything, any show, any little
For me, it's got to be the Mundo
story
markout.
in
Yeah,
the
like
history of TwitWoW live reactions. What's your favorite moment?
yeah, it's got to be the Mundo
No, no,
title
no,
win.
no, 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 no. You don't have. You don't. Let's actually make this more fun. What's your favorite Ashton markout? And I'll name my favorite John markout.
Ooh, okay. God, yeah, because when you mark out, it's so rare.
And it
So I
doesn't
mean,
even have to be a markout. It's just favorite moment. So if you want to say like when I said please don't do this to me regarding Natalia Charlotte, you,
yeah, that's always a class. You know what though? Because I love when you push back because I'm just such an asshole and I love breaking you mentally and emotionally. It has to be when the New Day faced BTE. You know, that was Tyson and Cesaro best team ever. And on preview predictions, we were all in like, oh yeah, New Day are winning, New Day are winning. And yet I was so sucked in by Tyson and Cesaro. God, I miss Tyson and Cesaro together. Being so amazing that I made my switch last minute. And yet when New Day won, you were like, yeah, suck it, whore. Almost like telling me like that's what you get for abandoning ship. And I love that you just kind of shoved that in. And then but you know what too? You had a really great mark out too for the triple threat, the Brock Seth Cena triple threat. Because like when Brock started coming unglued and then Seth came in with the briefcase, I know you were freaking out just as bad as I was. So I think I'll say New Day BT, but the more I think about it, you really have had some standout moments. And of course, please don't do this to me. I mean, you're suffering. I'm still sustaining myself from it. So I don't think I ever properly thanked you for that. Thank you for suffering for all of us. It's really appreciated.
what would you say was my best markout this year?
Maybe did you have a big mark out when Naito won G1? Because I know I was so pro Kenny and you were so pro
Oh,
Naito.
dude, I that whole run I was doing the Los Ingobernables thing every time he won.
You know what? I think, yeah, you know what I think I will say, because it does involve Naito. I think the way you and I both sold Ishii eating a Destino was some of my
Yeah,
favorite commentary that we did for New Japan this year, because I missed that Ishii, and getting to see him do that and look like a monster, and the chat was into it. That has to be my favorite bit of your commentary this year, because you and I were both like, what the fuck shit is this? And then he wins, and then you and I are just exasperated, like, oh my god, that was amazing. Ishii and Naito forever. So yeah, that has to be one of my favorite bits because that's just when wrestling is so good.
right. So obviously, all time, all three of your Johnny Mundo markouts when he first, when they won the trios titles, when he won the Gift of the Gods from Sexy Star, and then when he won the world title, all three of those are legendary. They're all in, on the channel as separate videos. But the two that I really want to talk about from this year, Andrade's title win and Marty Skrull's title win at Power Struggle.
Oh god, my voice gets so high when I'm not expecting something.
Yeah, it does. It's hilarious.
Holy shit. Yeah, like I think I only like it because I think in the back of my mind, and of course I could say it now in hindsight, right? But in the back of my mind, I'm like, you wouldn't have two Gift of the Gods cash-ins fail because I mean Cage had already failed his. So I thought, maybe Mundo can win because we've seen 1 week title reigns before. Like I was even telling Deluxe Man, because I remember we talked that day, because he was like, "Oh well, it's first defense," and I'm like, "But dude, it's Lucha Underground. Like Phoenix lost his." So I think I always kept that in there. With Andrade and Skrull, I was immediately counting him out. And with Skrull, honestly, I don't know why. He's always beaten Ospreay when some stakes are, at hand. Like he just has Ospreay's number. So yeah, I think Andrade has to win because I just didn't give him a chance at all by any metric.
Yeah.
And that just came out of nowhere. So yeah, that was great.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely Andrade, but from a markout standpoint, I really do think that your Marty markout was actually a bigger, crazier markout than the one for Andrade. They were both amazing, but your markout to Marty Skrull winning that title was absolutely legend status.
I appreciate that, my friend. Yeah, this is a nice feel good question. God, it's nice that we shifted the tone a little bit here.
I know. No
Um,
more talking about social constructs and politics.
I
Ew.
know who wants to talk about intellectually heavy things? Duh,
This is
nobody.
a Q&A, not a damn press conference.
I know. Listen to you finding words. All right, next question.
The fourth and final question from Ben Jr. What are your thoughts on the Women's Royal Rumble?
You know, Can I go first on this one? Because I feel like I'm going to be more dickish than you're going to be because you're a nice guy. I'm happy for
Go!
I'm happy for the women. I'm sorry. I hated the segment. I hated the segment where it was announced. Like,
But John, this is a positive question. You're supposed to give your thoughts on the Rumble match.
oh well. I mean, the thoughts. I'm sure it'll be a fun match. It's just if I could
It's
change a
not.
thing.
It's not. What were your thoughts on the segment introducing the women's Royal Rumble? It's just what are your thoughts on the fact that we're getting? What
I mean, yeah, it's a great thing. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
do you expect out of the match itself?
Yeah, I hopefully they get 30 women. I know that they've said it might be only like 15 or like 25 or however many. No, give them a full 30. Like if you're gonna make a big deal, women's rumble, make it be a fucking women's rumble. Like
I mean, the thing is, there are only 20 women on the main roster. Seriously, like that's all there is.
so maybe you could get like 10 veterans. I mean, we know Emma isn't gonna be a part of it because she actually has a life now.
Oh my
So
god, you're killing me. No, out of those extra 10, they could fill that with just like NXT people and NYC
yeah,
people,
iconic duo,
a
NYC,
couple
other
veteran
NXT.
returns.
Yeah, like I think between NXT, the NYC, and just veterans like Asia asked earlier, no reason why you couldn't fill 10 spots. I want if you're gonna do it, do 30. If you do
So
less,
let me see if I can come up with the women that are on the main roster that would be in it, right? So let's start with the two main heel factions, Absolution, Riot Squad. That's 6. Let's think about their main opposition so far. So that's Bailey, Sasha, Mickey, and then Becky, Charlotte, Natalia. So that's 12. Alicia Fox, that's 13. Nia Jax, that's 14. The champions are not going to be in it, so remove one because either Charlotte or Natalia. I don't remember who champion is anymore. One of
all
those
right.
are in it. So that's 13. Carmella's 14. Naomi is 15. And I need help from there.
Let me think. Did you say Tamina already?
That's 16. Lana would be 17 if she's in it.
Um, trying to
Dana
think.
Brooke, 18.
Yeah, yeah.
We're
Did you say
scraping the
Alicia?
bottom of the barrel here, brother.
Did you say Alicia Fox already?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Ooh.
We can't include Alexa because she's champion.
Right.
So we're at 18.
Right. God damn it. Yeah. Now I'm starting to try. So then we would have to start going into like NXT and stuff. I'd have both members of the iconic duo personally.
I don't think the iconic duo are going to be in it. I mean, it would be great, and it would be even better if they were up permanently so that they could actually, play a role on one of the main roster shows rather than basically doing nothing at this point in NXT since they haven't done anything since the last takeover.
Right. I'm just saying to fill up spots at this point because yeah, main
Yeah.
roster women, I'm tapped. Um, maybe Dakota Kai from the NYC, seeing so she hasn't done anything on NXT yet. Maybe she tries to make her run at it.
It might be 25. They might have to stop it at 25, honestly.
I've been hearing that they would. I mean, I'll begrudgingly accept it. It's whatever. But to get back to the initial question, so we can move on.
Oh, we didn't mention Asuka, so that would be 19.
Yeah. But yeah, just to get back to the initial question and not like get this deep into it, but I do think it's a good thing. I don't know if Chamber's still gonna happen. Maybe that was just the pure rumor and they're not gonna do that. But
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard any kind of anything regarding a women's chamber since the initial rumor came out from Meltzer saying, "Oh no, I think they would do a women's chamber before they would do a women's rumble."
this is why you're worthless, Meltzer. You'll always be worthless.
Jackass.
So yeah, fuck his face. Actually, no, not really, because he doesn't deserve to have his face fucked in any context. Um, So let me think here. Yeah, it's a good thing, and I hope it succeeds. I hope the first winner is one that's credible, whether it's like Asuka or Sasha or Paige or Becky. Just somebody that would really set a great precedent. They could tell a great story. Maybe a woman comes in at number one, lasts all the way to the end. Maybe it'll be a big bad heel, but I would want them to treat it with the same gravity as a men's rumble. So you think about those narratives, you think about the stories you want to tell within the match. And yeah, because there's only going to be one first ever women's rumble, in the WWE. You want it to be a good one. So I just hope they come out guns blazing.
Yep. All right. Well, You can talk about your opinion on the Stephanie McMahon segment to create the Women's Royal Rumble when we do our Royal Rumble preview predictions.
Oh, that, yeah, believe me, I'll use all of that airtime. I think I've been long overdue for a rant.
All right. And now our final set of questions come from Sal. Salvador.
Sal? Oh, awesome. Okay,
And he
what did
asked
he ask?
all four. So his first question, how did you spend your Christmases?
I feel like this is the same iteration on this question.
It's a little different. It's not just asking how it went, it's asking how you.
Honestly though, it was pretty lazy. I mean, my sister, bless her heart, she did some amazing cooking. She made these absolutely delicious cookies that I just stuffed my face with. But yeah, I feel like I was most concerned with just like researching and trying to put my paper together unsuccessfully. Really, I mean, I'd be lying if I said like it was anything other than a normal day. And a normal day for me pretty much consists of, surfing media, checking email, doing research, and then getting on with you and what we do with our nights, play Rocket League, YouTube stuff, maybe a movie if there's time. I know we've been doing streaming lately. So yeah, it was just really a run of the mill day. Honestly, I feel like the more festive day, if people are curious, would be I want to say it was the 21st, because that's when we just all opened up our gifts to each other, and I got some wonderful family gifts, and that was nice. But yeah, Christmas itself was again very
And you
low
got
key.
my gift for you.
Yeah, I did, which was great and so thoughtful, and I thank you very much for it. And yeah, just a very low key day. I mean, what about you? In fact, I almost feel like you answered this question more in that fashion the last time you were asked how was Christmas. You got more into detail, so I feel
Yeah.
like you
So
hit
how
it
did
on
I
the head
spend my
there.
Christmas? I woke up at 9:30. I got ready to go because I knew we had to leave. I got into a vehicle around 10:30 and just sat there and listened to a podcast for 2 hours until we arrived at my cousin's farm. And then we went into their house and just kind of, put the presents under the tree and then just kind of waited around for dinner to finish up and then ate and then went into the living room and watched her daughter, my second cousin, open her presents. And some of us got some presents from each other as well and stuff like that. I got like a gift card, and my mom got a new blanket and a phone case. And we gave our presents to everyone and all that stuff. And then we just kind of hung around and people were talking, and I was, petting the cats and that kind of stuff and little interactions like that. And then we left. Like we were literally there for 3 hours. We were there for less time than it took to drive to and from this place. And then we drove home. And by the time we got home, it was like 5:30, 6 o'clock ish, somewhere around there. And this was on a Monday. So then I was like a couple hours away from Raw, and then Raw came on, and that was the thing.
All right, so there's that. Next question from Sal.
What are your plans for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day? Oh, brother. Oh, brother. New Year's Eve is our year end awards commentary. That's the entire day. I wake up at 2 o'clock on most days. That gives me 3 hours to prepare for the 5 o'clock start time. That's going to end up being a 5 hour commentary. So that's my day.
Yeah, for me, depending on how things go, which I very easily could see them go this way, I usually wake up 11:30. You figure I usually get on with Ashton like a half hour before each commentary, so 4:30, since we'll be going live at 5 with our year-end awards. Probably just work, just trying to get more stuff done before the conference in February, and maybe doing any last-minute readings that hopefully I wouldn't need to do, but you never know with me. So yeah, it would just be working on the paper, then the commentary, then when the commentary is over 5 hours later, just kind of mellow out and do any phone calls after the ball drops, telling everybody hope your 2018 is slightly less shitty than your 2017 probably was. So yeah. And as far as New Year's Day, don't we have
Yeah, New Year's Day, we are going to be doing 5 fave 5s. I think that's at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, which is the same time as the year end awards. And also probably going to end up eating some hot dogs, mashed potatoes. That's about it.
Yeah, and then same answer as the last one. I mean, I doubt the family and I will do like anything significant, so I'll have time to myself again to just continue working on the projects that I have in front of me, and then do the TWitWoW stuff, and then all that stuff like it's any other day. So yeah, nothing really too special. Again, just keeping it super low key, unlike James's desire to die, which is as always very high key. So yeah. Next question.
Third question from Sal. What do you think of the feud between Breezango and the Bludgeon Brothers?
Uh, Disappointing. Actually, no, not even disappointing. I think it's starting.
Underwhelming.
Yeah, underwhelming is the word because it started out good, but I think it tired itself out very quickly. And then the matches were squash matches, and now they're still doing it. I almost feel like the Ascension are being like heels in a way, just constantly signing them up for these rematches. So that's kind of interesting in a way. But yeah, I'm not really interested. I would be far more interested in the Bludgeon Brothers pursuing the Usos for the tag titles. But, that's just me. So yeah, underwhelming is definitely the perfect word there, Ashton. Unless there's anything you want to add, we can move on to what I think would be his final question.
Fourth and final question from Sal, and the final question of our December Q&A. It's been over 3 hours now. What are your favorite items to order at Subway if you've ever gone there before?
Oh, it's been so long since I've been to a Subway, but God, what was this one thing I used to get? I used to love like making really spicy sandwiches. So like banana peppers and these types of meats, and I feel like sriracha sauce. I used to love putting sriracha sauce on my subs. And yeah, I feel like there was this one sub I would consistently make, but I cannot remember the name of it.
So
But
you're
yeah.
a big fan of the spicy, right?
Oh yeah. Oh dude, absolutely. So that's how I'm gonna answer you. So I'm sorry for the more general answer. I couldn't give you like a specific food item, but I really don't frequent Subway that often, so it was more difficult for me. But I can tell you whatever sub I have gotten, it's just like I go crazy with it with the peppers and like the sauce and stuff like that, and it's always a good time. So yeah.
So I find it funny that Alex Foster said in chat that Publix is better than Subway. I was going to say something similar. To me, Sheets is far superior to Subway, but I get the same thing at both places with a minor tweak. I get a ham, cheese, and pepperoni sandwich on white bread. And the cheese is the only thing that changes because at Subway, I get Swiss, and at Sheets, I get American. So that's my go to. And I don't really ever get anything other than subs at either place. So yeah, that's kind of my regular.
Oh, Sal says he'll make me what they call the ass blaster at the Subway where he works. Um,
Sounds like something with a lot of mixed meats in it, like pepperoni, sausage, all kinds of stuff like that. And then it's kind of
I'm
C2.
I'm gonna leave all the innuendos that could be done to James, and I mean, as far as food goes, I love trying new food. So yeah, I'd be open to that. Make me a sandwich and mail it to me. But yeah, it sounds delicious, and yeah, that's Q and
Oh, and
A.
that's another thing. I always get my subs toasted.
Yes, me too, dude. Me too. Absolutely. Every time I get toasted bread. I wish I could remember what type of bread. I don't know if I
See,
would
I
get
don't
like.
even just get toasted bread. I have them put the whole thing in the toaster.
Oh, damn, nice. I don't know if I've gone that far, and I'm trying to even remember what kind of bread I get because I remember there was one bread I would get every time, probably
You're
because I
right,
like the taste.
Foster. I do still need to try Five Guys, but I'm planning on doing that in the first month or two of 2018. It's a resolution, damn it.
And you don't strike me as the type that would abandon your resolutions a week later. You really do strike me as the type of guy that would follow through. So I believe in you.
Look, man,
Technically,
I do stuff that most people try to do as resolutions without even declaring them as resolutions.
well, I mean, you didn't need to pop your chest out. I already said I believe in you, but you go get it, bud. You do it. But yeah, that's Q&A. So another great one, guys. This is Q&A number 18. Like in February, my birthday month, we'll be at like another
20.
like yeah, 20. So like goddamn. Big shit. Thank you to everybody who submitted questions. Wow, this Q&A went places I didn't think it would go, but I really shouldn't be surprised. Again, this is number 18. This isn't the first time that we've had a blend of like deep commentary and shenanigans. This is just kind of the norm for us.
Well, that
Uh,
and plus, it's pretty clear based on the fact that we only got 60 questions and like 20 of them were last minute this time around. These fuckers are running out of ideas.
yeah, yeah. Looks like we're gonna beat you out.
I even looked on Patreon to see how many people are paying to be a part of this community and did not submit questions. And there were like 8 or 9 of them.
Wow. I mean, we see you. We
Yeah.
see you guys.
I'll name names: Sean, Abel, Hazardous Something, Jackie.
Oh man, Jackie, really? Because she even popped in here and she's like, "Oh, you guys are still going," and I'm just like, "Oh yeah, it's great to see you." But then it's like, "Oh wait, you didn't submit questions. Why?"
Yeah. Shay, Mike Phoenix, Paul,
Paul.
and Tech Guru. That's everyone that's in Patreon that did not submit questions. Calling your asses out.
God, I wish we could call James out because he's just so fucking awful, but he actually did things right for once. I feel so
James
conflicted.
asks questions while we're doing the previous Q&A.
I know, right? Like, I just want to call him out for being a piece of shit, but he's actually towing the line really well. I'm really emotionally conflicted. Like, I want to abuse him, but I feel like I have no basis for it whatsoever. Shit. Well, regardless, do better next month, you guys. And speaking of, Q&A next month will be January 25th.
Oh, that's so early.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, guys, you know how I work, and then I promise I'm gonna hand it over to Ashton here in a second. I'm gonna unpin the tweet for Q&A 18, put up a new one for Q&A 19, and like I just want to say personally, because Ash, I think you did say that like you've gotten some questions on Twitter. Any Twitter questions, guys, you really would be better off just sending them to me in my pin tweet. Or DM me, because I don't mind DMs, but I really do prefer the pin tweet. Like if I had
Yeah, like to me, the two, we really need to just stop pushing anything else other than leaving comments on our YouTube videos and just replying to John's pinned tweet. Like those are the two best ways to send us your questions for Q&A.
Yeah. And again, that's just how we keep it all, organized and everything else. So pin tweet, YouTube comments, and that's going to be how I start doing the outro going forward, is just really just plugging those two means and forget everything else. And yeah, you have till the 25th, 4 questions per Q&A. You can divvy them up however you want. You want all 4 to me or all 4 to Ash. Ashley was very popular this Q&A. I like that. Or all
I had so many questions just for me, including
you did.
So lame.
Yeah, however you want to divvy up the questions, it's your prerogative. As you can see,
I think that's going to give me a complex. Thanks, Rotten Butter.
I mean, yeah, probably. I'm kind of jealous. That's all it took to nurture a complex. Like, I've put in so much work. Like, I've tilled that shit like it was a goddamn garden. Rotten Butter achieves the same results with one question. Teach me your ways, senpai. But yeah, like as you guys can tell, based on the variety of questions we got this Q&A, you could pretty much ask anything unless we tell you otherwise. Like that question makes us uncomfortable, or what the fuck is wrong with you? We're not answering that.
Yeah, like in general, we like to avoid questions about our own sexual preferences or like objectifying women and that kind of stuff. But for the most part, it's anything goes.
Absolutely. So have fun.
And besides, if you want to objectify women, we were doing it pretty much all day in the Discord, unfortunately.
Yeah, thank goodness
But to be fair, we were also objectifying men, so we're equal opportunity objectifiers.
See, you're just like Joe. Anybody can carry my towel because you all suck in comparison to me. Yeah, so that's it for me, guys. I'm gonna hand it over to Ashton, and yeah, you can take us home, bud.
All right. God, I normally do really long outros, but all I'm going to say is look in the description, guys. It's got all the stuff down there. You can follow us on Twitter, like the Facebook, check out the subreddit, support us on Patreon. Make sure to donate to the Patreon so that you ensure that we do not drop below the $120 community goal that we currently have set, so that we can live react to progress every Tuesday in January. And even if you do that, we're still going to be doing Wrestle Kingdom 12 preview and predictions Wednesday, because NXT is a clip show and we don't need to watch that shit. So that cleared up a spot for us. So you're still going to get Wrestle Kingdom 12 live preview predictions and Wrestle Kingdom 12 live reactions on Thursday and New Year Dash live reactions on Friday, which we hadn't even plugged up until now. Holy hell, the content coming your way, mind-blowing. Right, John?
Absolutely, partner. Everything you just said. And yeah, I'm telling you, January is going to be a packed month. We're already starting 2018. The only way we know how, by being productive as fuck. So yeah, a lot of commentaries coming your way. They should all be exceptional. I mean, Ashton, do you got any more you need to add?
I mean, we have so much shit that we're doing this coming week. Sunday, year-end awards, 5 hours. Monday, 5 Fave Fives, probably at least an hour and a half. Tuesday, we are already planning on hopefully doing Progress Live reactions, but even if the Patreon drops below the $120 mark and we can't do Progress, then we'll just do Wrestle Kingdom Live preview and predictions on Tuesday instead. Wednesday, we have Lucha Underground rewatch, and if the Patreon does stay above the $120 goal, we'll be doing our Wrestle Kingdom preview predictions Wednesday night. Thursday, live reactions to Wrestle Kingdom, and then Friday, New Year Dash live reactions. The entire week is monopolized by our faces in your lives.
do you see this little bitch, James? I won't be here Sunday or Tuesday. Stop feigning like you have a life, okay? You know that you're going to be here. Stop fronting about it. Be a good little bitch and be in attendance. Listen to this bullshit. I'm not going to be here Sunday or Tuesday. Doing what? Instead of listening to our melodious voices covering some of the best wrestling on the planet.
But
Instead
here's
of
the
checking
thing, John. Even if he's telling the truth and he's going to miss us on Sunday and Tuesday, he's still got 4 other days of the week to catch up because he's got Monday where we're going to be doing our 5 He's got Wednesday where we're going to be definitely doing Lucha Rewatch and also possibly Wrestle Kingdom preview predictions. He's got Wrestle Kingdom live reactions Thursday and New Year Dash live reactions Friday.
Yeah, so you'll still have plenty of opportunities to know what greatness sounds like, James. I mean, I thought you would have learned.
John, I think this coming week is what they call stickety stacked, baby.
Yeah, you got it. I don't know. I was gonna call you some variation of Rick, but I'm too exhausted to be creative. So there you go. Stacked indeed. I can't wait to see all you guys there. It's gonna be a hell of a lot of fun. In the meantime, though, that's it for me. You know, my thing is tune in and peace out. And Ashton, you can formally close us out.
All right, guys. My merch. Put Patreon, follow Twitter, Facebook, all that fun stuff. It's all in the description. Just scroll down a little bit and click show more, and all the important stuff is down there. Remember to like the video, and then leave a comment. Give us some questions for next month. Tell us what you would have answered to some of the more important questions earlier. That kind of stuff. And of course, subscribe to the channel. And then once you subscribe, remember to click on the bell notification icon so you can figure out and your phone can tell you when we go live, all that good stuff. We'll see you Sunday. We will see you Sunday. Holy shit, for our 5 hours, because we're going to do our year-end awards. It starts at 5 p.m. Eastern time, guys. It's an early start time because we've done this shit before and we know how long it goes and we don't want to be staying up until midnight recording. So we'll see you guys on Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m. Stay tuned.